Gary Manilow in concert at 10 past midnight, we wind up the evening's entertainment here on BBC One.
The away was in for the grain, and they're all safely over the first. In fact, it was In the Breeze who was very slowly away, and Young Snugfit has taken it up. Young Snugfit jumps this from Guyvan's nephew, who almost runs out, and Waterloo Boy is gone. Last year's winner's a faller there. Another coral rather. Another coral has gone at the first last year's winner. At the second rather, and Young Snugfit is the leader. From Mr. Point, who's now gone second. Then Guyvan's nephew in third. Then comes Western Dandy with Celtic Shot on his inside, and then Commandante. Behind them, Cianonte. Young Snugfit lands in the lead from Mr. Point and Guyvan's nephew. Commandante, Celtic Shot. Behind him, Western Dandy and Cianonte, then the Grey Blitzkrieg, and then For the Grain. Behind For the Grain is the Musical Priest, and then Kaiichi and Anginus. And In the Breeze, who was very slowly away, is some way behind the remainder. Over the fourth, Young Snugfit lands clear, all safely over the fourth. Bar In the Breeze, who's only just jumped it and very nearly feathered it too. Young Snugfit the leader from Mr. Point in second, and Guyvan's nephew on the inside. Cianonte and Commandante come next, with on the outside Celtic Shot, and on the inside Blitzkrieg. The Grey over the fifth, and Guyvan's nephew has gone and hampered the Grey Blitzkrieg, who's lost quite a bit of ground in the process. Coming down to the water now, number 6, and Young Snugfit is the leader. From Mr. Point, who's second, Commandante third, Cianonte 4 on the inside. 5 then is For the Grain, 6 on the inner is Blitzkrieg trying to get into it. Celtic Shots on the outside, and then the Musical Priest over the first ditch, and Young Snugfit landed in the lead. A mistake there by Western Dandy. It's Young Snugfit from Commandante on the outside of Mr. Point. These three ahead of Cianonte, For the Grain, Blitzkrieg on the inside, Celtic Shot, the Musical Priest, then Kaiichi, and then Anginus. Racing now towards the final ditch, and as they do so, Young Snugfit has a 3-length advantage of on the inside Cianonte, on the outside Commandante. The leaders jump it with Blitzkrieg 4 and still going well. 5 is Mr. Point. 6 then is Celtic Shot. Anginus is getting a little bit closer. The Musical Priest is still well in contention. Kaiichi, the 5-year-old, is still right there too. For the Grain has dropped back a bit. They've got 3 left to jump now in the Arkle Challenge Trophy. Young Snugfit has made just about all the running so far, with plenty of them breathing down his neck, including Celtic Shot, Kaiichi on the outside, the Musical Priest, Commandante. Young Snugfit landed in the lead there from For the Grain. Very nearly went to that one, just recovered, but very nearly on the floor. Young Snugfit's the leader from the Musical Priest for Ireland, and Kaiichi for Ireland on the outside. Young Snugfit at the second last lands 2 lengths clear of the Musical Priest and Kaiichi. Then comes Commandante in 4, 5 Blitzkrieg racing round the home turn, and Young Snugfit with a 2 to 3 length advantage now under Jamie Osborne, and 1 fence left to jump. Kaiichi in the sheepskin noseband goes second, just ahead of Commandante. Young Snugfit being chased by Kaiichi. Young Snugfit lands in the lead. Kaiichi second, Commandante third. Anginus has now moved into fourth. It's Young Snugfit beginning to tie up as Commandante challenges. And it's Young Snugfit from Commandante. Commandante beginning to get up as they race towards the line. Commandante has taken it up and is going to win it. Commandante has won it. Kaiichi is second and third. Young Snugfit in a photo, and for Anginus. Commandante has won it. It's a photo probably between Kaiichi and Young Snugfit for second. Yes, the judges called a photo for second, with Anginus fourth and Blitzkrieg 5, but Commandante, number 5, owned by Mr. Morris E. Pinto, trained by Josh Gifford and ridden by Peter Hobbs, has won the Arkle Trophy, with probably Kaiichi just second ahead of the gallant but fading Young Snugfit. These two in a photo for second and third, with Anginus fourth. But this is the winner, Commandante, an 8-year-old by Candy Kane out of Meekstown, trained by the former champion jump jockey Josh Gifford, now on the 47 mark this season, and the number 27 is for Peter Hobbs. A really storming finish by Commandante, as we can review as we review the closing stages, but first the fall of another coral, the 1989 winner, who went so early at the second fence.
Well, very early on in the race, another coral went out in the colours of last year's winner. Look on the inside rail, just about to jump now, and stumbles. It wasn't a bad mistake at all, but couldn't get his undercarriage out and paid the price. And so I'm afraid another coral out of the race. But as we went down the back straight, look for Guyben's nephew. He's on the inside with a big sheepskin noseband and the white face just about to jump. Now he clouted it and the ground runs away there. The Blitzkrieg jumps over the top of him, but safely negotiates that obstacle. As they came round the last bend, now it's this sprinter bred horse, Young Snugfit, who heads for home, and the one thing about him would be his stamina, but here, well, you'd have bet your life on him, wouldn't you? Jamie Osborne's given him a beautiful ride, but a whole host of horses coming from behind. Commandante's in the light colours, Kaiichi nearest to us, the Irish have got Blitzkrieg just fading, the musical priest who ran well, and Antinous in the green colours you'll see run on. What a great jump there at the last. You would think that Jamie Osborne had clinched the race there. Musical priest made a bit of mistake as he landed over that. Celtic Shot not so far behind there in 7th place. But this big Cheltenham hill that has changed results in the past does so again. Young Snugfit was a 6-furlong horse on the flat, produced to be at his best on the day, but I think it was the hill that undid him. Commandante stayed on beautifully under Philip Hobbs, and Kaiichi, who was only a 5-year-old, has run a blinder here. He's a very inexperienced horse over fences, but he runs on stoutly up the hill, and Antinous, who'd never been in it, runs a good race to finish 4th. But it was Commandante. Let's look at it from another angle as we see them head on. They've got one to jump, and watch this on the inside. Young Snugfit, as Jamie sees a brilliant stride and asks, look up, he says, and up he comes. Well, just looking a little bit further back, you can see that Celtic Shot certainly hasn't disgraced himself there on ground that's much faster than he would like. But there up front, Young Snugfit just starting to tie up, and he's being caught now by Commandante in the middle of the 3 as we see it. But Kaiichi under Brendan Sheridan has run a very good race indeed. Antinous in the green, then Blitzkrieg, Musical Priest behind him, Celtic Shot and Cianante just behind him. But here's the winner. Let's go to Peter.
Yes, here's the winner, Commandante, and officially placed second was Kaiichi, number 14. And third, number 13, of course, Young Snugfit. Fourth, number 2, Antinous. And fifth, the rather luckless Blitzkrieg, who was hampered by that fall running down the hill on the far side. I was busy getting another coral and last year's winner, Waterloo Boy, confused in the same colours as you probably noted, and of course it was sheer nonsense that another coral was last year's winner. It was Waterloo Boy, of course, his stable companion. Commandante getting a traditional reception after his one length success with a neck separating second and third. This big, powerful son of Candy Cane out of Meekstown by Alcyon the second. There's Josh Gifford there, who's no stranger to the winner's circle here at Cheltenham. In profile to us. He'll be delighted with this horse because he's a relatively young horse with a great future ahead of him. It's a hat-trick he scored since he tipped up on his first outing of the season, only his fourth run of the season. Very impressive winner last time out at Newbury. And the 9-2 winner of this Arkle Trophy.
With Beach Road, but very relaxed horse this, loves his racing, doesn't he? You'd think that he'd been around for 20 years. Crebensis, just a 6-year-old at the moment. Just getting a trot, keeping him warm. Beach Road coming towards us, Richard Guest, who, as he said the other day, doesn't get the mount as a result of riding these good horses, and yet he's shown so many times how good he is. You might just see the bottom half of his whip there, because that's covered in felt. I know a lot of you at home get very stirred up about horses being smacked. Well, quite honestly, their hide is a lot tougher than ours, and now that these jockeys ride with felt on the ends of their whip, I don't think too much hurt is felt, but it does urge them on. Quick show of the betting.
The Beach Road 2-1, Crebensis 9-4, Nomadic Way is on 8-1, Cruising Altitude 9s, Morley Street has gone from 10 to 11-1, Vagador 16-1, and See You Then 25-1. There's some money there for Elementary. It was 33-1, has gone to 25, 33-1 bar.
Well, they're not far off now for the Waterford Crystal Champion Hurdle itself. I should think Paul Green's backing his own horse. He wouldn't like to see one out at 33-1 for a race like this. So they're all going to line up. I don't think it'll be slow from the off. Beach Road's 2, 5-2 Crebensis, 8-1 Nomadic Way, and it's 9 that trio. But the starter, very keen to get them lined up here for a fair start, but he's backing off now. He's not convinced that they're ready to do the job. In fact, it could just signal that something is not right here. It could be that Island Set's just ducked under the... So Vagador broke the tapes, and Manaha was still actually caught round her leg there, but I can't see anything too serious happening here, because he's a sensible horse, and they're just going to take the tapes off his back. I suppose that'll give us a slight delay. They'll want to start such an important race as this from the elastic tapes. They're free now, so that's okay. I don't think they'd ever risk starting a race like this with a flag, but look at the sweat now on Vagador. I wonder if that's a good thing or a bad thing. You never can really tell until after the race, and then we'll know whether it was a good omen. Redundant Powell going across in those checks then. They were the red and white checks. Paddy Mullins' horse, of course, he knows what it is to win here. Dawn Run is a very popular winner for Paddy in this race. Deep Sensation is behind them all with the yellow and the black hoops on his body. And this fellow, as I say, the winner of the Tote Trophy, and a very thrilling finish there against Joyful Noise.
I see you.
Yes, no doubting the instructions. In my day, they were slightly more gentle in their instructions, but you've got to get them right. It's going to be a flag start. Let's go with Peter.
They're under orders. Jockeys are told wait where they are. And Vagador's broadside, says Elementary.
Take a turn.
They're asked to take a turn.
Take them back. Behind the gate, cross.
He's got
Just
19 of them
Just wait.
to get off.
Wait. Wait.
Tell him to wait where they are.
Come on.
That's it, and they're away. And Nomadic Way, one of the first to show, with Island Set right up there, and Sudden Victory over on the far side. Sudden Victory and Nomadic Way, and Persian Style has gone at the first. Persian Style, a faller, and Sudden Victory is taking him along from Nomadic Way, with Past Glories up there and Deep Sensation, and Distrain not far behind the lead. Sudden Victory ensuring the gallop from Nomadic Way. Past Glories, Deep Sensation, Vagador just in behind him. Distrain over on the far side, being tracked by Cruising Altitude as Sudden Victory jumps the second in the lead from Nomadic Way. Deep Sensation and two more fallers. Cruising Altitude has gone there. Cruising Altitude has gone, and also Bank View. Cruising Altitude and Bank View have gone at the second, and Sudden Victory has a 2-length advantage from Nomadic Way. Then on the inside, Distrain, then Past Glories. Then comes Don Valentino and Vagador and Deep Sensation on the outside. Island Set comes next, followed by Morley Street, and Beach Road is in fact last of the runners as they run downhill, with Sudden Victory in the lead from Nomadic Way, Distrain, Past Glories, Don Valentino, Deep Sensation and Morley Street and Vagador as they come to the third. And Sudden Victory lands in the lead from Nomadic Way. Distrain on the inside. On the outer is Past Glories. Just behind them, Don Valentino. Redundant Pal has made good ground. Deep Sensation well up there towards the outside. Sudden Victory, though, still with the advantage as they run down towards the fourth flight. Sudden Victory from Nomadic Way. Deep Sensation on the outside. Slight mistake there by Redundant Pal. Past Glory is well in touch. So's Distrain on the inside. It's Sudden Victory from Nomadic Way and Distrain and Past Glories. Then Deep Sensation. Behind Deep Sensation is Crebensis, who's making steady headway now over the fifth. And there it was Sudden Victory from Nomadic Way and Past Glories going right up there on the outside. Deep Sensation just in behind him. Sudden Victory has given way now to Nomadic Way and Past Glories, who are disputing it ahead of Deep Sensation and Crebensis, who's making quite good progress. Beach Road has got a great deal to do at the moment. Past Glories is the leader with Nomadic Way. These two disputing it from Deep Sensation. Elementary is coming there strongly on the outside. Beach Road is starting to improve now, and 3 out. It was Past Glories, and on the inside Nomadic Way, then Deep Sensation, then Beach Road still making ground with Caprensis upside him. Coming down to the second last, Nomadic Way and Past Glories now at the second last. Past Glories and Nomadic Way as they round the home turn. Past Glories and Nomadic Way with Beach Road on the outside and Crebensis getting into contention. Nomadic Way has the advantage from Past Glories under pressure. Beach Road is coming there towards the stand side. Crebensis over on the far side at the final flight. Beach Road on the near side. Crebensis on the far side. Past Glories right up with them. Racing into the closing stages. It's Crebensis on the far side. On the near side it's Beach Road. As they race up towards the line, Crebensis has the advantage. As they come to the line, Crebensis is going to win the champion hurdle. Crebensis has won it from Nomadic Way. Past Glories was third and 4 Beach Road. Crebensis the winner. Nomadic Way second. Past Glories third. And Beach Road the deposed champion fourth. And so the result first, number 10, Crebensis, owned by Sheikh Mohammed, trained by Michael Stout and ridden by Richard Dunwoody. Second was number 12, Nomadic Way, owned by Mr. Robert Sangster, trained by Barry Hills and ridden by Peter Scudamore. It's a photograph officially for third place, but I think we'll find third was number 13, Past Glories, owned by Mr. N. Heatherton, trained by James Heatherton and ridden by John Quinn, with fourth, number 2, Beach Road. But let me emphasize, it's a photo for third place officially between Past Glories and Beach Road. But there's no doubt about the winner of the 1990 Waterford Crystal Champion Hurdle. We're looking at him here, getting a great reception. Crebensis, winner of 10 of his 11 races now, puts Richard Dunwoody on the 80 mark for the season, and a fourth winner of the season for Michael Stout, and getting a tremendous ovation, this horse. Only once beaten over hurdles in 11 runs, and that was in last year's Champion, in which he so brilliantly avenged that defeat by Beach Road. And sadly, Cruising Altitude, a victim at the second flight. And, well, it is good to see him walking, because I had my grave misgivings about him when he fell at that second flight. So maybe he's not too bad.
Yes, pick it up with Cruising Altitude on the inside, just behind Distrain. Now there he's in the light orange colours. He's buried amongst the horses and just, had nowhere to go. I don't know how bad that mistake was. And Bankview also ended up on the floor. We couldn't see from that. whether he brought him down. But when the race unfolded itself, just look now, and how well in the pinky colours Past Glories is going here. John Quinn's riding for James Heatherton, who's in his first season as a trainer, and that combination must have been feeling delighted at this stage. Well, as they come on to that last bend, we've got Nomadic Way under skew on the inside. Crebensis being pushed along by Richard Dunwoody. Past Glories running far better than I thought he would, but that's probably a help to him anyway. And Beach Road being really nudged along. Deep Sensation behind him. Don Valentino on the rails. Morley Street just tucked in behind. And Jinxie Jack, the other one in the picture. Now, Nomadic Way jumps brilliantly here, but Richard Dunwoody, the ace stylist, picks his stick up in his left hand, and he's now going to forge ahead to become one of the few jockeys that has won the Grand National, the Gold Cup, and the Champion Hurdle. You'll remember Willie Robinson, Bobby Beasley and Fred Winter doing it. Richard Dunwoody has joined that elite group. Here, Crebensis with his head in front. He's never lacked for a battling tendency, and he's gone all the way to the line here. It'll be certainly a big feather in Michael Stout's cap. I know the classics are a long way removed in flat trainers' eyes, but to win a Champion Hurdle is not an easy thing. Pick it up from a different angle now with Nomadic Way on the right of the picture. Jumps beautifully there. So does Crebensis. Puts a lot of daylight between him and the top of the hurdle. Past Glories not weakening at all at this stage, and Beach Road out to the left of the picture. But just look at Morley Street tucked right in behind them there in 5th place. And in the yellow over on the rails, we've got Deep Sensation. Don Valentino running well. It's been a terrific Champion Hurdle, this, and the grey horse going away up the line. Well, he was bought in Ireland at Tattersalls Island sale for 125,000 guineas, and certainly he was bought to be a good flat horse, but this would be a very nice consolation indeed. A good shot there of Richard Dunwoody as he crosses the line on Sheikh Mohammed's Crebensis.
Tom, it's 2 years since that great moment when you won this race on Perleman. It was his second triumph in it. How bad was his subsequent injury at Liverpool?
Well, he missed the fence down the back, and he went to go run out the second one, which is totally unlike him, and he wasn't travelling, and I've accepted it 4 from home in Liverpool. He's beaten a long way, a handicap, and I just thought he might have been over the top back end, but he sustained injury there.
And was it touch and go whether he ever raced again?
Yes, and the vets were very doubtful. What they did, you know, when they scanned him, they said, I mean, be highly unlikely, but that to get him back in a racetrack. But the head lad done a marvellous job with him, and he rides him out, and you know, he's full credit there.
Well, he reappeared at Wetherby, I think, at Christmas, carrying a lot of weight, and very nearly won. I imagine you were delighted with that performance.
Yes, basically probably ran off his freshness, jumped very well, felt like the old Pearly man, and I was absolutely thrilled with him that day.
And what about Ascot next time?
Yeah, a bit flat, wasn't him at all, didn't really sparkle, like a lot of our horses on their second run just weren't getting home. And I wasn't that disappointed with him. Connections, I think, might have been, but you know, I mean, a lot of weight. It was a very good race. I was running on the death, missed the last, but on the whole, I thought he ran a very good race.
And realistically today, what chance of unseating the new champion, Barmouth, again?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think the better class horses when Perryman was winning his pre-mother than last year. Not taking anything away from Barnbrook again, but we haven't seen much of Royal Stag or, you know, I mean, Panther Prince, like, he never really gets up the hill, you know. I think Desiree can very promising to say more for Perryman's form.
So you're quite hopeful?
I'm very hopeful, yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, there's Perliman, and you mustn't forget what a very good horse this fellow's been in the past. But he has been, well, he was well beaten last time out anyway at Ascot behind Feroda, though he ran a very good race up at Wetherby on his return. Now, 7 in the light colours, very interesting, old Private Views, because he drops the bridle when he gets to the stands here. And they brought over a horse psychologist for this fellow from America. Georgiana Webb-Bromphon owns him. He's 16-1 from 25, so obviously the psychologist's been working on some of the punters too. But it's a big thing to ask. You know, he is a good horse when he's right, but he has been a naughty boy so often here that certainly you are, well, you're taking a fair risk to back him. But I'd like to see him come right because he's owned by one of the nicest owners in the game. And I think to have done wonders with this horse, well, let's see if it works. Kevin Mooney rides. Now, Ida's Delight, just in front of him, well, this is a big challenge from the north, and Ida's Delight has been running particularly well all season, hasn't been worse than 4th from 5 runs, and last time ran down at Sandown behind the A-Train, was 3rd then, carried 12 stone, you know, the A-Train, the winner had 10.9, and that is just good form. Not very big, Ida's Delight. It's by Idiot's Delight out of Ben Nevis Mare. Well, this one would be a very, very popular winner in the north of England, 66 to 1 at the moment. Brian Story rides him one. There's the top 3 in the betting. It's 11 to 10, Barnbrook again. Sabin du Loir is 4s. He's drifted a whole point. And Pearlyman way out to 6s from 3s. It's going to be fast and furious, as you can see. They're not going to hang around in this cracking race. Let's go with Peter.
12 fences to jump this time, and as Richard said, they're sure to go gallop now. Sabin du Loir over on the left of the pictures, we see them. That's Private Views, who's lined up on the inner towards the right with Panto Prince next to him. The starter up on his rostrum, under orders, and they're away. Away first time. Private Views just ducked a little bit at the start. And over on the right, it's Panto Prince, who lands in the lead from Sabin du Loir. Almost up with him now, then Barnbrook again and Impertain. Pearlyman and Ida's Delight on the far side, then Waterloo Boy. Sabin du Loir landed in the lead there. Feroda is the back marker. Sabin du Loir with his white face, ridden by Peter Scudamore in his familiar trailblazing position now from Panto Prince, then Impertain and Barnbrook again and Ida's Delight, and Private Views making his way back into contention right over on the far side there, and sneaking up on the inside of Panto Prince to take it up, in fact. Private Views going on now from Sabin du Loir over the third. Oh my goodness, he nearly misjudged that. He was very, very clever, just putting himself right, Private Views, at the last stride, and he goes on by 2 lengths now from Sabin du Loir. Panto Prince on the inside, then Impertain, and behind Impertain, Barnbrook again, and Ida's Delight on the inner, and then Pearlyman as they race over the 4th now. And all safely over it with Feroda jumping rather deliberately in rear at the moment as they run down towards the next at a blistering pace. And Private Views, just for a moment, he just wondered whether he was going to continue in the race, and he got some encouragement from Kevin Mooney to do so. Sabin du Loir's taken over from him, though, just as they jump the 5th. Sabin du Loir goes on from Private Views, and Barnbrook again travelling well towards the outside. Impertain up there, Waterloo Boy also, Panto Prince on the inner, then Ida's Delight and Pearlyman and Feroda as they jump the water and make towards the first of the ditches now. Sabin du Loir from Impertain on the far side. Impertain and Sabin du Loir together. Bad mistake by Private Views, virtually puts him out of the contest as they come to another plain one. The 8th, Impertain, going a very fast gallop on the outside of Sabin du Loir as they swing left-handed now towards the final ditch, and Barnbrook again is 4th on the outside as Waterloo Boy is 3rd as they come to the final ditch. Sabin du Loir in the lead from Impertain. Barnbrook again. Mistake there by Impertain. He drops back to 4th. Pearlyman moves into his position into 4th now, and it's Sabin du Loir from Barnbrook again in 2nd. 3rd is Waterloo Boy, and 4 is Pearlyman. So 2 previous Queen Mother Champion chase winners in the first 4 at the moment. Barnbrook again and Pearlyman in 2nd and 4th, with Sabin du Loir the leader from Barnbrook again. Pearlyman is moving into 3rd now, 3 out. Waterloo Boy on the inside. Feroda's getting into contention now, moving into 5th as they jump this one. Barnbrook again and Sabin du Loir from Waterloo Boy who goes 3rd. Mistake by Pearlyman, and I think he's going to be pulled up. Pearlyman looks as though he's going to be pulled up by Tom Morgan. Yes, he's been pulled up. Barnbrook again now, 2 out. Barnbrook again from Sabin du Loir. Waterloo Boy is 3rd. 4 is Feroda, racing round the home turn now with 1 fence left to jump in the Queen Mother Champion chase, and it's Barnbrook again, the 1989 winner from Sabin du Loir on the far side, and Waterloo Boy producing a tremendous run towards the near side to come and challenge Barnbrook again. In fact, to take it up at the last. Waterloo Boy jumps the last in the lead from Barnbrook again. It's these 2 now fighting it out as they race up towards the line. Barnbrook again on the far side, and the near side Waterloo Boy. Barnbrook again is forging ahead again. Barnbrook again is inches from Waterloo Boy. Barnbrook again is going to win it at the line. Barnbrook again has won the Queen Mother Champion Chase. Waterloo Boy second. Feroda's got up to be third. Ahead of Sabandouloir, 4, 5 Alice Delight, 6 Pando Prince, 7 was Private Views, and so the result of the 1990 Queen Mother Champion Chase. First, number 1, Barnbrook again, owned by Mr. Mel Davies, trained by David Ellsworth and written by Hugh Davies, who goes to the top of the Ritz Club Charity Trophy, having won the last yesterday. Second is number 9, Waterloo Boy, owned by Mr. M.R. Dealey, trained by David Nicholson and written by Richard Dunwoody. And third was number 2, Feroda, owned by Mr. N. McCarthy, trained by Arthur Moore and written by Tom Taft. Fourth was number 8, Sabandouloir. And so Barnbrook again completes a famous double, and Hugh Davis salutes the crowd as Pearly Man is led in after being pulled up by Tom Morgan. Pearly Man, the winner, of course, in 1987 and 88. But a tremendously gutsy performance by this son of Nebbiolo out of Single Line, bred at the Ennistown Stud in Ireland. Headed going to the last, but fought his way back in a memorable climax to this great race.
What an incredible race it was. They went like stink right from the outset, as you'd expect. We pick it up here with, on the right of the picture, Sabandouloir, who made that running. Although early on, of course, Private Views went over the first few like a scalded cat, but then got up to his tricks. Sad sight there to see Tom Morgan pulling up Pearly Man. Obviously, you could see his stride fairly shortened there. So lame, but let's hope it's not too bad. This is a tricky, tricky fence, and they're really motoring at it. Waterloo Boy was now starting to get in the picture and going well. Although Richard Dunwoody had just given him a reminder, so had Peter Scudamore gone for his stick at the same time, and that was on the inside on Sabandouloir. But old Feroda's running on now. Look where he is, just back in 4th place, his tongue hanging out as it always does. He runs on to be 3rd. Watch the jump here that both the leaders get, as he is lately. But behind him, or in front of him now, is Night Oil from Oliver Sherwood's stable. Mark Richards has the ride, and this one is blinkered for the first time. I was talking to poor old Jamie Osborne before racing. He did his collarbone yesterday off cruising altitude, and he said they'd been saving the blinkers for this very moment. They didn't want to use them up until they had to, and today is the most important time, with £40,000 going to the winner. There's a lot to play for here. Well, he unseated his rider last time out, Night Oil. That was behind Garrison Savannah at Warwick on February the 21st, but previously he'd won over 3 1/4 at Utoxeter, you know, and also won at Toaster, so he stays well enough. 7 is the committee. Let's have a look at the market.
And the committee, one of the outsiders, 18 to 1 and drifting all the time. Royal Athlete, 5 to 4 favourite. Chatham, 7 to 2. Touring Prince is on 8 to 1. Night Oil has gone out to 9s. Mixed Blends and Rifle Range 12 to 1. Garrison Savannah is 14 to 1. The committee 18 to 1, and All Jeff 33 to 1.
Big race this. I can remember it being abandoned one year when they used to hold it, the race after the Gold Cup, and everyone was so happy they were still in one piece after the Gold Cup. They're only too pleased to not go around in novices. Well, nearest to us is All Jeff, and on the far side is the favourite, which, a lovely big horse. I was fortunate enough for Jenny Pittman to let me sit on this horse, the favourite, Royal Athlete, only last week, and he's a lovely big horse to sit on. You've got a lot of rein in front of you, big long neck, and you certainly need it when he belts the odd fence, but he's got a lot of scope in him and can come up nicely. 5 to 4 favourite from 11 to 8. I was fortunate enough to win this race a long time ago on Killiney, who was a very great horse. Sadly, we'll never know how good he was because he was killed at Ascot. But this horse looks incredibly good condition for what is his biggest performance to date. And this is the smallest field since Killiney won this race in 1973. Mark, of course, got his mind very much on the job here as to what to do. He had him covered up last time when he was brought down because he was running on a right-handed course, and this is another horse who prefers to go left-handed, and he was brought down at Kempton Mark was really kicked to pieces. That he came back last week and had 3 winners from 4 rides in excellent fettle. Well, do you know, this horse was originally bought at Tattersall's Island sale for 10,500 guineas from Rathmore Stud, but he got a leg after running in a bumper, and Jenny Pittman sold him on to his present owner in the stables for only £1,500. Gary Johnson, who is a car dealer amongst other things, picked him up and was prepared to stay with a horse with a leg. He fired him and put him away and is reaping his just rewards. I hope he gets his just desserts today with this £40,000 prize in his pocket. Now that is number 7, the committee, who we looked at earlier on, running for Corcoran Enterprises Limited. Mickey Flynn is the jockey here. Mickey's not a chap that we've seen over riding in England a lot, but anyway, he wasn't riding the committee last time. Conor O'Dwyer was on board at Leopardstown when he was second to Carvillo. Now, on that occasion, he was beaten 12 lengths in a 2.5-mile novice chase, but prior to that, he'd run well behind Welcome Pin, only beaten 2 lengths. The committee also ran second to Blitzkrieg, so you can see he's dying to get back into winning figures. And he's by Daring Rose. Now, Daring Rose is making a big name for himself as a stallion. Do you remember Fred Winter used to train him for Peter Saville, and he was a horse that was a monkey as a racehorse. He used to pull himself up here at Cheltenham, and then John would nurse him and then persuade him to go on. Well, he's proving to be a very good stallion now. That's the committee. Well, punters here should be delighted today. There's thousands and tens of thousands of them. The favourites going in, apart from the last winner, of course, they should be lining their pockets at the moment. Hardly a spot of grass there apart from the course. Thank goodness there is some there. This is always a particularly good race, 9 of them, and a lot of fancied runners. Let's go with Peter.
19 fences to be jumped in rifle range. The leader as they come to the first, with Turin Prince and Night Oil towards the stand side, Garrison Savannah and Royal Athlete, then All Jeff and Mixed Blends, the committee, and Chatham just the back marker, and Night Oil now the clear leader. Night Oil from rifle range and Turin Prince as they race towards the next. Night Oil lands a long way clear of rifle range and Turin Prince, and then All Jeff and Royal Athlete on the inside, Mixed Blends on the outer, then Garrison Savannah, the committee, and Chatham. Coming to the third, and Blinket. Night Oil jumps it clear of rifle range and Turin Prince. Royal Athlete and All Jeff. Garrison Savannah, Mixed Blends, the committee, and Chatham as they run to the water. Night Oil, Turin Prince and rifle range on the inside, Royal Athlete and Garrison Savannah, and now the first of the ditches. Night Oil. All safely over it. Now the plain one before the second ditch. Number 6. Night Oil from rifle range and Turin Prince on the outside. Then comes Royal Athlete and Garrison Savannah. All Jeff was dropped back to last, but only just. Almost upsides Chatham now, as over this ditch, Night Oil lands in the lead from rifle range and Turin Prince and Royal Athlete and Garrison Savannah, and then Mixed Blends. And then the committee, then Sabandoulois and All Jeff as they begin the run downhill on this first circuit. Night Oil maintaining his very strong gallop ahead of rifle range, the gap to Turin Prince. Then comes Royal Athlete and Garrison Savannah and Mixed Blends. Then the committee, All Jeff and Sabandoulois. The 8th. All safely over it. Night Oil from Turin Prince. Rifle range on the inside. On the outer, All Jeff coming to join them. Mixed Blends there. And Royal Athlete a fall up. Royal Athlete has gone there. Royal Athlete's continuing riderless. He's unscathed. And over the 10th, rifle range has come to dispute it now. Riders up all right. Night Oil back in the lead from Turin Prince and Rifle Range. Then on the inside, Chatham with Garrison Savannah, mixed blends. And behind them, the Committee and Old Jeff. Over the 11th, Night Oil from Rifle Range and Turin Prince. Mistake there by Old Jeff. Chatham improving on the inside. Goes fourth. Just ahead of Garrison Savannah and the Committee, and mixed blends going well on the outside. Old Jeff the back marker and Night Oil the leader. Over the 12th, Night Oil, he didn't jump that fluently. Rifle Range did, has the advantage now as they come to the water for the last time. Rifle Range from Turin Prince on the outside. Night Oil on the inner, Garrison Savannah, then Chatham, and then mixed blends getting closer, the Committee, and finally Old Jeff, a ditch. Rifle Range lands in the lead. Turin Prince on the outside, Night Oil on the inner. 5 left to jump. Garrison Savannah close, and mixed blends in the Committee also. And Night Oil very nearly went at that one, and Turin Prince has gone to the front at this point. Turin Prince approaches the final ditch in the lead from mixed blends for Ireland and the Committee for Ireland. Very close to Turin at the final ditch. Turin Prince doesn't jump it immaculately, but is still in the lead. Bad mistake by Rifle Range, who drops back last, and Old Jeff has now moved second. Mixed blends is third as they begin the run downhill. Turin Prince with the advantage from Old Jeff and mixed blends with 3 left to jump now. And Chatham is coming there strongly towards the outside. A wide open race as they come down to the third last. Turin Prince on the right of the picture, just the leader at the third last, lands over it from the Committee. And Old Jeff is a faller there. Turin Prince on the inside, Chatham on the outside, the Committee between horses at the second last now. Turin Prince on the inside, Chatham on the outside, the Committee between horses, Garrison Savannah, Night Oil is a faller, mixed blends is 5th, rounding the home turn now. Turin Prince and Ronnie Began towards the right on the near side. Chatham between horses, the Committee. Garrison Savannah getting into the picture too. The Committee with the sheepskin noseband lands right upsides Garrison Savannah as Turin Prince weakens and Garrison Savannah goes on. So the stable companion of Royal Athlete that's driving away now from the Committee and racing up towards the line. Garrison Savannah wins the Center Alliance Novices Chase. The Committee is second. Third is Chatham. 4 is Turin Prince. And 5 is mixed blends. So the result, first number 3, Garrison Savannah, owned by Auto 4 Engineering, trained by Mrs. Jenny Pittman and ridden by Ben DeHaan. Second was number 7, the Committee, owned by Cochrane Enterprises Limited, trained by Homer Scott and ridden by Mickey Flynn. And third was number 2, Chatham, owned by Dr. B. Nolan and Mr. Adrian Nolan, trained by Martin Pipe and ridden by Peter Scudamore. Fourth was number 8, Turin Prince. So Ben DeHaan wins his first race of the meeting, and Garrison Savannah makes amends to Jenny Pittman for the fall of the Hot Pot Royal Athlete.
So what a race of ups and downs for Jenny Pittman. Royal Athlete and Mark Pittman seem to have emerged unscathed. Garrison Savannah, the unconsidered outsider, scores a dramatic success. What a ride by Ben DeHaan in a race that was full of drama. Royal Athlete, the first faller. Rifle Range made repeated mistakes. Old Jeff came to grief coming down the hill, and then eventually Night Oil, a faller at the second last. Ben DeHaan's first success of the Cheltenham Festival. No rider yet has succeeded in riding more than one winner. The winner returned at 12-1, Garrison Savannah. Hugh Davis, of course, Peter reminds me, has ridden 2 winners at the meeting, Catabatic yesterday and Barnbrook again today. And the starting prices on the Sun Alliance steeplechase. The winner, number 3, Garrison Savannah, 12 to 1. Second, number 7, The Committee, 20 to 1. Third, number 2, Chatham at 7 to 2. Well, the good news is that all the jockeys who've had falls today so far, up until this race at least, have emerged unscathed.
Another horse with a lot of form. This is Silver King there in the black and white colours of Pipe Skew PLC. Peter Scudamore has selected this one out of the 5 Martin Pipe runners, and he has been most impressive. He made all to defeat Gay Ruffian by 8 at Newbury, and that was on heavy ground last month. Hasn't been proven on this ground, but certainly Martin Pipe thinks that he will go on it. Let's have a look at the market.
And the favourite Stoneflake 9 to 2, Major Inquiry 5 to 1. Royal Square is 9 to 1 still. Sayur 10 to 1. Silver King 11 to 1 from 10s, 14 to 1 bar 5.
Number 11 is Magic Million, another one of this strong Irish contingent. Mick O'Toole trains, Tommy Carmody rides. Magic Million has probably got the best of the Irish form, although my good pal and RTE commentator Ted Walsh has told me he thinks Rare Holiday may turn out to be the best of them. Dermot Well trains that one, but Magic Million certainly has been improving with every run. He's done very little wrong indeed. And 14 to 1 from 12 to 1 in this field, you know, 14 to 1 shot is a relatively fancied horse. Carmody knows his way definitely around Cheltenham. Again, getting a little bit warm, but that's hardly surprising. 3, that is Ballyrood. Jim Bolger trains, another Irish horse. He's owned by Edward J. Kearns, and he's ridden by Mr. Eddie Kearns Jr. Earlier on, Peter O'Sullivan spoke to him, but I think it's a bit dangerous to go and hear what Eddie said, because they're just coming in now to the action. They're just coming on to the goggles down stage, so you can see that it'll only be a few seconds before they've sorted themselves out. Well, Peter O'Sullivan will have the job of calling these 30 runners. It'll be quite a cavalry charge. Don't forget, Cy-Freight is also fancied from Martin Pipes, and we've got the top 3 in the betting. 9 to 2 Stoneflake, 5's Major Inquiry. That one's been getting support for a long time now. Royal Square has been going out in the betting, and it's 10 to 1, bar the leading 3 in the betting.
Just wait.
They started Keith Brown telling them to wait, but they're all in a hurry. Let's join Peter.
Just wait, wait.
All crowding over towards the far rail. Difficult for 1 or 2 of them to get in.
Get them straightened up.
It's Major
Take a
Inquiry
turn. I
was
can
turned
see you
in
if you
the
want to
centre.
take a turn.
Afraid to take a turn, as they've been told they can do, in case
You'll
it's
have
not
to
up
get
with
those
the
heads
action
off the tape.
when that tape's released.
I see you. I can't see who that is, sideways on.
Sideways on is Royal Square, in fact.
Yes.
Towards the right of the picture.
What? What's happened up there? Brian, what's happened up there? You'll have to straighten that horse out. I can't start you like that. Take him back, take a turn in. I'll wait for you. Take him back.
The tape over on the right. In fact, he's got his back to it at the moment. That stage player.
Take that horse to the back and turn him in. Take that horse back off the tape. There's no way I can start you with the heads over the tape. No, I see you.
19, there is
Keep him back,
Rare
Richard
Holiday.
Rowe.
He's in the second row at the moment. You heard him instruct Richard Rowe to take Royal Square back. Royal Square is the one that's been giving the trouble. He's got Ninja upside, so number 16 is by the number there.
Where is Rowe? Right, jockeys, it's no good. You'll have to take a turn. We can't have this. Yeah, take a turn.
Steve Smith-Eccles there gesturing on Stoneflake.
I'm not going to start you until you've taken the turn off this.
This is Cyfrey just walking out of the back. You can see him at the back now, the rider with the pink cap, Jonathan Lowe. Started not getting a lot of response from the jockeys. At the moment, he wants them to go back. He wants them all to go back and turn.
I'm not going to start you until they're off this tape and you're turned in. Now, jockeys, I'll have you all in if you don't get your heads back off this. There's one to go, and then we'll be all right. One to go. All right, come on!
That's it, and then away. And he's got a pretty good run, got a pretty good break, even so. Il Trovatore was the one who was just a little bit slow. Major Inquiry is very fast to jump the first flight over on the right. And they're all safely, all 30 safely over the first flight. Ballyroo is going on now with Silver King. And it's Silver King, Peter Scudamore, the rider with the white cap. Ballyroo, and the youngest rider in the race, 18-year-old Eddie Kearns, is just towards his inside. Then comes Native Friend, Mark Dwyer with the sheepskin noseband. And then far left of the picture is Crystal Heights. These four now disputing it. Ballyroo, Silver King, Native Friend, Crystal Heights. Just behind them, Major Inquiry. Over on the far side is Royal Square with Major Inquiry right upside him, and Stygon very nearly unseated his rider with that one. He's dropped back to last, but he's all right. Beginning to race uphill here. Ballyroo in the lead from Royal Square on the inside. Silver King just behind Silver King is Major Inquiry on the outside. Crystal Heights, then comes Ninga, and on the outside of him is Native Friend. Then on the inside is Ivor's Guest as they begin the run downhill now, going a blistering gallop as you'd expect in this fast ground. Royal Square on the inside. On the far side is Silver King. Between horses is Ballyroo as they come to the third. Crystal Heights is right up with them, and only just behind them is Major Inquiry. They run down towards the fourth. Crystal Heights, the leader, over on the far side now. Royal Square, Ballyroo, and Silver King in very close contention. Just in behind them come Ninga, slight mistake there by Rare Holiday. Il Trovatore is making ground. Stoneflake, one of the well-backed horses, got a reminder there from Steve Smith-Eccles. Jumping the fifth, Crystal Heights on the outside of Silver King. Ballyroo going strongly on the near side with Royal Square up with him. Just in behind them come Ninja. And behind Ninja, Native Friend still going well. They've got three left to jump now in the Triumph Hurdle. Ballyroo has the advantage now. From Royal Square on the inside, then comes Silver King. Lucky Verdict has made very good progress. Major Inquiry is also well in contention too as they race to the top of the hill now. Still maintaining this tremendous gallop. They've only got two flights left to jump now, but over half a mile to run. And it's Ballyroo disputing it. Ballyroo for Ireland from Royal Square on the inside, then Silver King, and then Crystal Heights, then comes Major Inquiry. Seyeur is coming there as well, and just in behind the lead, Lucky Verdict, and then comes Native Friend. Coming down now towards the second last, and it's Ballyroo, the leader, from Seyeur and Silver King, and on the far side Crystal Heights, and on the near side Royal Square, then Ninja, then comes Lucky Verdict, and then Native Friend. They're racing now towards the home turn, and as they do so, it's Ballyroo, the leader, from Royal Square on the inside, Seyeur on the outer, and then comes Ninja, leveling up towards the final flight now. Major Inquiry's fighting his way back into the picture too. It's Seyeur on the near side, and Major Inquiry in the center has taken a fractional advantage now. Major Inquiry over on the far side, and here also coming there with a strong run is Native Friend under the sheepskin noseband, and on the near side Ninja. Major Inquiry from Native Friend on the far side, then comes Ninja on the near side as they race into the closing stages. On Deposits putting in a tremendous run too. There's a lot of crowding as they race to the line. Ninja is coming there on the near side. Rare Holiday on the far side, and it's very close indeed. It's very close. The Rare Holiday has probably just got up to win it from Ninja and Native Friend. Rare Holiday has probably just got up in the closing stages to win it, and certainly Brendan Sheridan thinks so. A triumph for Ireland if he has. The judge calls for a photograph, and I think we'll find that Rare Holiday has just about won from Ninja, with Native Friend right up there. There was a good deal of crowding in the closing stages, particularly over on the far side, but I think Brendan Sheridan has just about got there on Rare Holiday. Trained by Dermot Weld, who trained a second in the young horse Kaiichi on the opening day of the festival. Rare Holiday in Dr. Michael Smurfit's colours, already being hailed by the Irish here as the winner as we await the outcome of the photo.
And what a race this was, as you'd expect. Well, Royal Square is on the inside there, on the pink colours with the pink sleeves. That's Vestris Abu and Charlie Swan coming through to challenge. And on the outside, you can see is 21, which is Seyeur Graham McCourt with a great shout at the moment. But look for the yellow colours trying to weave his way through there. That's Rare Holiday and Brendan Sheridan. At the moment, he's not going anywhere at all. You'd think that it was going to be Vestris Abu from this point with the sheepskin or the elastic breast girth. Royal Square just weakening from this point, as in fact Brendan Sheridan gets a nice opening. It didn't look as if he'd get it from there. But look now to the right of the picture in the green colours, now just about to jump. This is going to be the challenger, one of David Nicholson's runners. Huel Davis rides this one. He's already had 2 winners, and he must have been thinking, here I go for the Ritz Club Trophy, as they head up the hill. Brendan Sheridan on Rare Holiday. This one had been second to Magic Million last time they ran, but has put Magic Million behind him today. The big hill here, and it sees 10 horses all within a few lengths of each other, but we concentrate on the leading group now, and 15 comes in. Native Friend, Mark Dwyer, and that one running for Jimmy Fitzgerald's stable. But all the way you can see that Rare Holiday is going to hold Ninja. It's going to be desperately close though for 3rd place, and in the end it's Native Friend who gets there. We've heard that there's a steward's inquiry. Let's see if we can pick any bones out of this, and it may be to do with the fact that, look for the yellow colours, the eventual winner just... Oh no, he's got room on his inside, he jumps that okay. Can see nothing from that. Now, does he come across and bang the eventual 3rd horse? Do they shut him out? It looks very much from here as if they have. Now you can see Jimmy Fitzgerald's horse is switched to the inside, and any minute now the rails stop. In fact, the man holding the tape had to duck to let him through there. And again, having run across, you can see the eventual winner, Rare Holiday, still goes slightly right-handed, leaving the injured party, Native Friend, to come up on his own. It'll be a job for the stewards to decide from the side on and the head on exactly how much damage has been done. But Brendan Sheridan certainly has come home on Rare Holiday from Ninja in 2nd place, and on the right of the picture then, Native Friend.
And the outcome of the photograph, reminding you that there is a steward's inquiry. First, number 19, Rare Holiday. Second, number 16, Ninja. Third, number 15, Native Friend. Fourth, number 28, Vestris Abu. And there is a steward's inquiry. This, meantime, is the first past the post, Rare Holiday by Caerleon, out of Temporary Lull. Trained by Ireland's flat race trainer Dermot Weld, and produced in magnificent nick for this immensely competitive Triumph hurdle. As I mentioned during commentary, there was a certain amount of trouble over on the far side with considerable bunching in the closing stages, which resulted incidentally in distances of half a length and a length between 2nd and 3rd. And you can see there Native Friend having difficulty in finding space to renew his challenge, having been squeezed earlier. Ninja has run a tremendous race on the near side under Huel Davis, who's the only rider to win and ridden 2 at the meeting, but Brendan Sheridan's partner, Rare Holiday, is just too strong for him at the line. So, pending the outcome of the Stewards' inquiry, a second Irish triumph in this Daily Express triumph, and the first Irish victor since Northern Game in 1984, and at a traditional Daily Express triumph hurdle price, 25 to 1.
Well, for the second day running, we have a controversial Stewards' inquiry on our hands as the second Irish past the post of the week.
Ran against him in Gainsborough last year and beat him, giving him about £18. But Peggle Bay again loved his ground. Last year he didn't seem to quite get home in the heavy ground, but he's again sure to be tuned up for the day with Captain Forster training him.
He was another one who Toby Tobias beat, and beat very easily. They say that he wasn't right on that occasion, but he certainly looks very well today. There's the mare, 13, going through. That was Made of Money, but now this is the time where all the jockeys really get G'd up. All the plans are in their heads now, and you can just see Cavi's Clown on the left of the picture being led in there. Cavi's Clown, who is 9 to 1 at the moment, it's 5 to 6 Desert Orchid, Toby Tobias 8 to 1, as is Bonanza, 9 to 1 Cavi's, and Nick the Brief 20 to 1 bar. But just look at Cavi's Clown mulishly digging his toes in. He's being kept going. David Ellsworth is actually down at the start, walking around with his hands in his pockets. I suppose there he is, David Ellsworth, going out to the left, because this is a most important, in fact, crucial time for David Ellsworth's second string Cavi's Clown. How do you keep a horse like that interested? He doesn't look as if he's exactly tuned up, does he, for the biggest contest of the National Hunt? Look, they're still saying, let's move him round, let's keep him going. See Graham Bradley digging his heels in, and just an odd strike behind the bottom, and gets no reaction whatsoever. But David's got eyes for everyone, but he's looking very pensive here. There's a lot at stake. He fancies his horse to run a great race, but if he won't start, and here it is, let's join Peter.
And Cavi's Clown has jumped off, but he's jumped off about 20 lengths behind the remainder. But he's racing now as Bonanza Boy, Desert Orchid, and Yahoo come to the first, with 10 of Spades on the outside, and Desert Orchid landed in the lead there at the first of the 22 fences. 3 1/4 miles to run. Coming to the second, Desert Orchid over on the far side. Kildimo's gone second now, just ahead of 10 of Spades, and then Yahoo. And then Made of Money for Ireland. Pegwell Bay on the inside, Bonanza Boy, Nick the Brief, Norton's Coin. Behind them, Toby Tobias, then the Bakewell Boy. And a long way last at the moment is Cavi's Clown. So the stable companions, first and last at the moment as they swing round this left-hand turn. Desert Orchid in the lead from Kildimo. 10 of Spades on the outside, Yahoo on the inner, then Pegwell Bay. They're not going a tremendous gallop at the moment. Over the third, Desert Orchid lands in the lead from Kildimo. Yahoo and Pegwell Bay towards the inner. 10 of Spades towards the outer. Nick the Brief just in behind them as they come to the water for the first time. Desert Orchid lands in the lead over the water. Cavi's Clown is about 30 lengths behind the remainder now as they come to the first of the ditches. Desert Orchid lands in the lead from 10 of Spades over on the outside. Kildimo is next, followed by Yahoo and Pegwell Bay and Nick the Brief and Toby Tobias and Norton's Coin over the sixth. Desert Orchid joined almost by 10 of Spades. Kildimo is third. Pegwell Bay and Yahoo come next, then Nick the Brief and Toby Tobias as they race towards another ditch. Desert Orchid on the inside of 10 of Spades. Pegwell Bay has gone third ahead of Kildimo, then Toby Tobias, then Yahoo as they come to the eighth. Desert Orchid from 10 of Spades. Pegwell Bay third. Kildimo, then Toby Tobias with Yahoo on his outside. Behind them come Norton's Coin and Nick the Brief, then the Bakewell Boy, Made of Money, Bonanza Boy over the ninth. And they're galloping all right strongly now, and Cavi's Clown is getting quite a bit closer to the remainder of the field, who are headed by Desert Orchid with 10 of Spades second, a little gap then to Pegwell Bay and Yahoo and Kildimo, followed by Toby Tobias. Behind Toby Tobias is Norton's Coin, and then Nick the Brief, and behind him Made of Money and Bonanza Boy, Cavi's Clown, and the Bakewell Boy is now the back marker. So they race round what will be the home turn on the next circuit in the Tote Cheltenham Gold Cup. Desert Orchid and Ten of Spades, these two disputing it. From Yahoo and Pegwell Bay, then Kildimo and Toby Tobias and Norton's Coin, a gap then to Bonanza Boy. Behind Bonanza Boy is Cavi's Clown making ground, then Made of Money and Nick the Brief, and finally the Bakewell Boy. Number 12 now of the 22, Ten of Spades and Desert Orchid together from Pegwell Bay on the inside. Then almost line abreast are Toby Tobias and Yahoo and Norton's Coin, and then Kildimo and a gap then to Bonanza Boy, and then Cavi's Clown getting closer. Then Made of Money for Ireland, then a long gap to Nick the Brief, who looks as though he's going to be pulled up. He's just been passed by the Bakewell Boy, and Nick the Brief has in fact been pulled up. They've got 10 to jump. Desert Orchid on the inside of Ten of Spades. Pegwell Bay going well on the inner, Yahoo on the outer. Then comes Toby Tobias, then Kildimo and Norton's Coin and Bonanza Boy and Cavi's Crown, and then Made of Money, and then the Bakewell Boy, who's virtually tailed off as they come to the water for the last time. Ten of Spades, just heading Desert Orchid, little between them. Desert Orchid back in the lead over the water. Desert Orchid from Ten of Spades, Pegwell Bay going well on the inside, Toby Tobias, then Yahoo, and then Norton's Coin, the third of the ditches. Desert Orchid from Ten of Spades. Kildimo's a faller at that one, coming to another plain fence. Desert Orchid and Ten of Spades, who jumped out in the lead. Ten of Spades now from Desert Orchid second. Toby Tobias has gone third. Norton's Coin 4. Pegwell Bay 5. 6 Yahoo and 7 Bonanza Boy. The final ditch, 6 from home. Ten of Spades jumps it too clear of Desert Orchid, with Toby Tobias going up on the inside of the grade. Norton's Coin very close in fourth. Fifth is Pegwell Bay at the top of the hill, 5 out. And there it was Ten of Spades from Toby Tobias and Desert Orchid going back into second now as Norton's Coin is fourth. Fifth is Pegwell Bay. Sixth is Cavi's Clown, getting very much closer all the time. Desi's stable companion as they come to the fourth last. Ten of Spades from Desert Orchid. Then comes Toby Tobias. Then Norton's Coin, then Cavi's Clown, and Graham Bradley still improving ominously as they come down now towards the third last. And it's Ten of Spades on the inside of Desert Orchid. Desert Orchid lands just in the lead from Ten of Spades. Norton's Coin is next. Then comes Toby Tobias on the inside. Then Cavi's Clown and Pegwell Bay. They're racing to the home turn now with 2 fences left to jump in the Tote Gold Cup. And as they do so, over on the far side, Toby Tobias comes to challenge for the lead. Desert Orchid on the stand side. Norton's Coin between horses. It's Desert Orchid on the near side. Toby Tobias on the far side. Desi lands a neck in front. Ten of Spades has fallen there. Racing to the final fence now. Desert Orchid is under pressure. Toby Tobias on the far side. Norton's Coin between horses. Over the last, Toby Tobias and Norton's Coin. It's Norton's Coin in the centre. Toby Tobias over on the far side. Desert Orchid's back in third place and he's beat. It's Toby Tobias and Norton's Coin as they race towards the line. Norton's Coin is going to win it at the line. Norton's Coin has won it. Toby Tobias in second. Third is Desert Orchid. Fourth is Cavi's Clown. 5 Pegwell Bay. 6 is Made of Money, running on gallantly on her last appearance. Then came Yahoo and Bonanza Boy. And so the result of the 1990 Tote Cheltenham Gold Cup. A triumph for number 7, Norton's Coin, owned by Mr. Cyril Griffiths, trained by him and ridden by Graham McCourt. Second was number 11, Toby Tobias, owned by Mrs. Elizabeth Hitchens and Mr. Robert Hitchens, trained by Mrs. Jenny Pittman and ridden by Mark Pittman. And third was number 4, Desert Orchid, owned by Mr. Richard Burridge, trained by David Ellsworth and ridden by Richard Dunwoody. Fourth was number 3, Cavi's Clown. This is the winner, Norton's Coin, the shock winner of the 1990 Cheltenham Gold Cup, which he's won purely on merit, getting a great reception. He's trained in Carmarthen and a tremendous body of Welsh supporters here this afternoon. Sad, all of them no doubt, to see the Great Grey beaten. He gave everything as usual, but he just wasn't good enough this afternoon. So a fantastic season for Graham McCourt is crowned by victory in Steeplechasing's Classic. Riding as a freelance, he's ridden his 73rd winner of the season now on this 100-to-1 chance. The biggest Gold Cup shock in the history of the race. And nobody could say that it was a fluke. Ran an absolutely marvellous race, this son of Mount Casino out of Grove Chance by St. Columbus. What an unbelievable triumph for his owner trainer. Trains him in a very small stable. This is fourth success of the season, but of course none of his 3 previous successes have been achieved in anything like this company at level weights. Jonathan Powell with Cyril Griffiths.
Can't believe it.
Yes, I'm with Cyril Griffiths, the winning owner and trainer of Norton's Coin. You're speechless, Cyril.
I am actually, yes. Can't believe it. I hope nothing hasn't gone wrong, that's all I hope.
You've been telling us all winter he'd win the Gold Cup.
Well, I did tell a couple that he might have a chance. I don't think I said it quite as plainly as that. I thought he would run very well, but I didn't expect to win, of course. I thought he might get third, perhaps, with a good run, you know?
And could you believe your eyes when he came there to challenge Desert Orchid and Toby Tobias?
I just couldn't believe it, really. You keep hoping it's going to be true, but you can't really believe it, can you?
And you bred this fellow yourself, didn't you?
I didn't breed him, actually. I bought the mare and sold the mare to my neighbour in Fowl. So he's brought him up, not me.
Well, you ought to go up and greet him now. Yes. Many congratulations.
All right, thank you.
Distances, 3/4 of a length and 4 lengths. 3/4 of a length and 4 lengths.
Not that the distances are all that relevant in moments like this, but they were in fact 3/4 of a length and 4 lengths. As the amazed crowd, probably the biggest ever Gold Cup crowd, throng this arena. Many of them must be totally unbelieving that a 100-to-1 chance could have beaten the nation's favourite. There he is, and a tremendous reception for him. He always gives it all, and he's once again run a marvellous race. Don't forget, he's the old man of the party at 11. The winner, the ideal age for a chaser, fully mature, the best age for a national horse. It's always thought to be 9 years old. Norton's Coin now winner of 5 of his 15 races. And Desi's record is still not too bad at 31 out of 61. And so to the staggering starting prices.
First, number 7, Norton's Coin, 100 to 1. Second, number 11, Toby Tobias, 8 to 1. Third, number 4, Desert Orchid, 11 to 10 on favourite. First, Norton's Coin, 100 to 1. Second, Toby Tobias, 8 to 1. And third, Desert Orchid, 11 to 10 on and favourite.
Well, you've never heard such cheers for a 100 to 1 winner anywhere. There must have been half of Wales here, and never have you heard such applause for a horse who got beaten as Desert Orchid. What a cheer. And someone's got to be second. There, Jenny Pitman, overcome with, well, joy at the way this horse ran, but such frustration and disappointment, having got so close to winning the Gold Cup, because he really looked the winner at the last. Just checking what appeared to be a small cut on one of the horse's forelegs, but she's got a smile on her face again now as she's consoled by Monty Court, the former editor of the Sporting Life. And the grey horse, well, you can't win them all. And he certainly can't win them all going round left-handed. And what a triumph for an owner-trainer with a horse with a pedigree that you'd have to go through the smallest print to make any sense of. Bred in Wales, trained in Wales and Carmarthen, and thought of some little while ago as a Gold Cup horse, although most of us cognoscenti said, well, that's a dream if ever there was. And then even his owner-trainer's hopes were dashed with a disappointing run at Newbury last February, after which it was found that he wasn't right and that he had a virus on him. And he's come back today bursting with health and running up the Cheltenham hill like a lion, a Welsh lion. Well, as ever in the Gold Cup, there were fallers, and Kildimo, sadly, was one of those who came to grief today. Tommy and Simon with me. Ten of Spades has run a terrific race, and I think, Simon, they've gone a terrific gallop from the word go. Do you think that in a way he was doing too much, this horse?
No, I don't think so, because the first and second horse have run right to the line, so it wasn't an unfair pace. Kevin was doing very much a repeat at 10 plus last year, and obviously trying to force it all the way along.
He isn't happy going left-handed, and this is one of the times where it counted him coming round this bend when he's been pushed out.
As you say, he's got his ears back. He's obviously, the form book speaks for itself that, he's run a long, long way behind his best, but he's been honourable in defeat, and he's really run to the line.
There goes Ten of Spades. Poor Kevin Mooney, the second year running, but he's got up okay. And Desi, well, even his courage, there wasn't enough in the tank today.
As you say, the writing was on cards, sort of going to the second last and up the hill. The Toby Tobias and Norton Coin have really run well to the line, and poor Des is beaten.
What a finish Graham McCourt's ridden.
As I say, it was a beautiful. Graham McCourt was in a perfect position all the way around. Horse jumped fantastically. He gave it an absolutely fantastic ride.
And Graham McCourt.
And it could well be Western Wolf. But that's it, they're all in, and they break away. And as they come to the first furlong, they're definitely splitting into two camps. On the far side, Sylvan Tempest and Miss Sarah Jane. On the stand side, Villa Nika and Classic Sweet. And the far side have it. And we're doing about 45 miles an hour, at least we were, as they race through the first furlong. And Euro Dollar and Sylvan Tempest and Miss Sarah Jane showing up on the far side. And on the stand side, it's Classic Sweet in the yellow jacket. And also up with the pace is Evich Star. And they race through the first quarter mile now. And on the stand side, it's Evich Star who leads from Classic Sweet and Salman and Sleepline Princess. On the far side, it's Terminator and On My Merit. And they come down towards the halfway stage. And Evich Star on the stand side from Classic Sweet and Sleepline Fantasy. On the far side, it's Euro Dollar, and the Irish Raider upward trend is certainly in the firing line. They race down past the 3, and Evich, Star and Sleepline Fantasy coming with a run on the stand side. The high numbers seem to be in front at this stage. I've got just over 2 to go. Down the centre of the track, Miss Sarah Jane and Kaya on the far side, but the stand side have it, and it's Evich Star in the lead, and Van Roy putting in a big run on the stands rails. The low numbers have got no chance. It's high all the way, and it's Van Roy and Evich Star and Villanica and Fact Finder coming off the pace, and Inish Poor and Northern Printer and Salman on the far side, finishing very fast is Rose Glen, but the stand side have it, and it's Evich Star, another big race win for Aaron Munro. Evich Star from Villankaya, then came Inish Poor and Fact Finder. Rose Glen won the race on the far side, and she was clear of Terminator and Becquerel. Neither of them ever got into the race with any sort of a chance. Then behind these came Breezed Well. Here he comes, and behind that one, Sylvan Tempest, having showed up for some way upward trend, beat a few. One of those was midfielder, another was Marcroft, and the tail end Charlies include On My Merit. The result then of this, the William Hill Lincoln Handicap. It's a win for number 12, Evich Star, in the colours of Mr. Gwyn Meredith, trained at Moulton by Jimmy Fitzgerald, ridden at 2 pounds overweight by Alan Munro, but made virtually all the running and landed a big bets at 33 to 1, returned at SP. The second horse is number 21, Villanica, in the colours of Bill Gredley, ridden by Gary Barbwell. It's officially a photo for 3rd place, and involved in that photo is Van Roy and also Fact Finder.
Well, I must say you'd hardly expect on a day as windy as this, you'd hardly expect a horse to make all the running, but that, I think, is what Evich Star has done. As you'll see, they split up immediately, and I'm bound to say that Jay McCurrick has been proved absolutely right. I'm sorry to say he'll be quite a bit richer, because he's taken all our money off us. Evich Star is already in front on the stand side, and the stand side is already in front of the far side, Jim.
Absolutely, and Evich Star, the horse who went down early, who had to stand on his own in the cold while we waited for the one with the spread plate to join them, has really dominated the race. And I thought beforehand, okay, it's all right being a front runner in an average size field, but in a big field like this was sure to be something that would come snapping at his heels and catch him in the closing stages. But here the change of angles again shows you how far he is in front of the group over on the far side. Classic Sweet, 1 or 2 others chasing him up. One of the favourites, Becquerel, you can just see if you look over on the far side, Paddy bumping up and down, getting nowhere, and not just Evich Star, the whole group are clear on this side, John.
Yep, it's a total change from the past 8 years in which low numbers have dominated the race. The drier ground has made all the difference. Now I think I see
Fact Finder.
Fact Finder, yes, running a fine race again, and Inish Poor is there, but none of them get to Evich Star. Moulton neglected, although he wasn't neglected in the betting. But
is calling him in now. The 38 runners are under starters' orders. Right over the stand side is Polyphemus with Teep Challenge. Over on the far side, Go Far and Joint Sovereignty and Conclusive are together. Bob Tisdall's a little out of line at the moment. Conclusive has just turned to join him. Go Far has to turn. When Go Far turns, it looks as though they'll be in a pretty good line. Lanovo on the near side a little bit, and they're away. They're running. And they're off to a very good start, racing towards the Melling Road with Hungry Her up there, West Tip on the outside, Polyphemus on the inner, and Charter Hardware also. And it's Charter Hardware, Polyphemus, Hungry Her, Solaris over on the outside, followed by West Tip. And over on the outside is Brown Windsor as they race down towards the first. Charter Hardware's the leader, Solaris in the centre, and over to John Hanmer.
The Hardware on the inside, Stars Delight right up there on the outside. A bad peck by Bob Tisdall, but he's all right. And they've jumped the first, and the faller was Gala's Image at the first, and over the second it's Stars Delight out in front in the centre of the course, then Uncle Merlin, Brown Windsor, GA. They're all over the second. Mr. Frisk is up there too, and coming to the third, the open ditch. And Uncle Merlin landed just in front, a very slow jump by Brown Windsor, and faller there was Thinking Cap, and as they go to the fourth, it's Conclusive as another faller at that one, and as they go over the next, it's Star's Delight, Uncle Merlin, and Polyphemus and Charter Hardware, and over to Julian Wilson.
Star's Delight, the grey on the far side, Uncle Merlin, and GA as they come to the fifth, and over that, Uncle Merlin led over it from Star's Delight on the far side, Mr. Frisk. On the stand side, it's Polyphemus going really well, and Charter Hardware's behind him as they come down to Beecher's Brook. And the leaders, as they come to Beecher's, are Uncle Merlin, Star's Delight, and Mr. Frisk. Those three fly it. Polyphemus is over fourth. All the leaders are over Beecher's. Lanaber's a faller at the back, and Monabo's made a bad mistake, and Young Driver's almost come to a standstill, but the rest are over as they jump the seventh, with Uncle Merlin leading by a length and a half from Polyphemus. Mr. Frisk is third, then Star's Delight on the outside, Bucker Major and Brown Windsor, then GA and Charter Hardware. Behind that is Mixed Star and Renus, as the Young Driver's been pulled up at the back as they jump the canal turn. Uncle Frisk, the American, jumps it ahead of Polyphemus. Uncle Merlin, rather, I should say. Uncle Merlin, the leader from Polyphemus and Mr. Frisk, then Bucker Major on the outside of Brown Windsor as they jump the next. Uncle Merlin, Polyphemus, Mr. Frisk, Brown Windsor, then Pucker Major and Renus, and GA. Behind those are Charter Hardware and Mixed Star and Hungry Her as we rejoin John Handler.
And Uncle Merlin led over that. From in second place, Mr. Frisk. Third is Polyphemus. 4, Brown Windsor. 5, Pucker Major. Then comes Renus and Hungry Her and GA and Charter Hardware and Star's Delight over the next open ditch. And still Uncle Merlin from Mr. Frisk, Polyphemus, Pucker Major, Brown Windsor, Hungry Her, Renus, then Charter Hardware and Mixed Star, and then Bob Tisdall and GA, and then Durham Edition as they jump the 12th fence, and Uncle Merlin the leader from Polyphemus, then Mr. Frisk, Pucker Major, Brown Windsor, Renus, Mixed Star, then Solaris and Hungry Her on the outside, and then Bob Tisdall making ground, then Solaris and Suggest, and then comes Charter Hardware, Durham Edition, Big Sun, and then GA, and they're followed by Nautical Joke, and then Huntworth, and there are plenty more in it behind that as they go towards the 13th, with Uncle Merlin the leader from Polyphemus and Mr. Frisk, Pucker Major, Brown Windsor, and Bob Tisdall, and over to Peter O'Sullivan.
Yes, still Uncle Merlin and Hugh Davis from Polyphemus. Then comes Mr. Frisk just in behind them. Then Brown Windsor and Pucker Major the grey. Behind them is Bob Tisdall. Then Hungry Her, and Star's Delight has been pulled up before the fence. Star's Delight has been pulled up there, racing down towards the next. Uncle Merlin and Mr. Frisk, these two from Polyphemus. Then Brown Windsor, then Pucker Major, then comes Renus. Behind Renus, Hungry Her and Bob Tisdall. And now they're racing towards the chair for the only time, number 15. And Gainsayer's gone, and Monanora's gone, and Uncle Merlin is in the lead from Mr. Frisk and Polyphemus and Brown Windsor. Uncle Merlin there from Mr. Frisk. Brown Windsor, mistake there by Polyphemus, but he gets away with it, racing towards the water. Huntworth went there. On the near side, Mr. Frisk. On the far side, Uncle Merlin. Brown Windsor jumps it third. Renus jumped it 4. Suggest 5. 6 is Polyphemus. 7 and 8 are Mixed Star and Pucker Major. Just in behind them come Course Hunter. Behind Course Hunter is Durham Edition, and behind Durham Edition is Solaris, and then comes Big Sun. Bob Tisdall's on the outside, crossing the Melling Road. Uncle Merlin on the inside of Mr. Frisk. A long gap then to Brown Windsor, then on the outside Suggest. Up with them is Renus and Pucker Major, and as they race towards the next, it's Mr. Frisk and Uncle Merlin from Renus and Brown Windsor, and over to John Hanmer.
At the 17th, and Uncle Merlin landed in front of Mr. Frisk, then Renus, Brown Windsor, then on the outside Suggest, followed by Pucker Major, and then Polyphemus, Durham Edition getting closer, Mixed Star on the inside, Course Hunter getting right into it on the inside as they jump the 18th. And still Uncle Merlin from Mr. Frisk, Renus, Brown Windsor, Suggest, then Durham Edition, Pucker Major and Course Hunter as they jump the 19th, and it's still Uncle Merlin from Mr. Frisk and Renus, then Brown Windsor, Durham Edition, Suggest, Pucker Major, Course Hunter and Polyphemus, then Bartries, Mixed Star, Big Sun getting a smack with the whip, then last of the Brownies, followed by Nautical Joke. And the faller there was Joint Sovereignty, and Hungary has been pulled up and tailed right off is against the grain, and also right out the back Bob Tisdall and GA as we join Julian Wilson.
As they run down towards Beeches for the second time, with Uncle Merlin has made almost every yard of the running. Mr. Frisk is up there with him. These two are clear, Uncle Merlin and Mr. Frisk, as they come to Beeches for the second time. The American horse leads over Beeches, jumps it very big, gets away with it. Mr. Frisk, oh, but he's unseated his rider. Uncle Merlin has unseated his rider at Beeches, but all the other leaders have jumped the fence as they come to the 23rd, and Mr. Frisk is leading the Grand National field from Renus, who's now second, Suggest is third. Then Brown wins a fourth, and then after that is Durham Edition and Bartris as they come to the canal turn where there's a major obstruction after an incident on the first circuit, and Mr. Frisk leads over the canal from Suggest over in second, Renus is over in third, then Brown Windsor and Durham Edition, then Bartris and Packer Major getting closer, then Course Hunter and last of the Brown is starting to get into it, and Big Sun who's also starting to get into it, but Mr. Frisk is clear by 10 lengths from Suggest in second, Renus third, then Brown Windsor and Durham Edition and Bartris, and last of the Brown is and Packer Major and Course Hunter and Big Sun, and they're well clear as we rejoin John Hanmer.
And 4 to jump for Mr. Frisk, who still has a 10-length lead from in second place Suggest. Third is Renus, 4 Durham Edition, 5 is Brown Windsor, and Mr. Frisk well over the fourth last. From Renus, Durham Edition's gone third past his stable companion Suggest, then Brown Windsor, last of the Brownies Bartris and Big Sun, and then comes Course Hunter over the third last. Mr. Frisk still clear of Renus, who's being challenged for second by Durham Edition. A gap then to Suggest. Nautical Joke has gone there, and behind Suggest as they run across the Milling Road is Brown Windsor and last of the Brownies, but Mr. Frisk the leader with Renus second, and in third place Durham Edition. These are clear of Suggest and Brown Windsor, and last of the Brownies as we rejoin Peter O'Sullivan.
Mr. Frisk about 10 lengths clear with 2 left to jump, written by Marcus Armitage. Then comes Renus and Durham Edition. In third is a long gap then to Brown Windsor and Suggest, and last of the Brownies, who's been making steady progress. They're coming down to the second last now. Mr. Frisk lands in the lead. Durham Edition jumps in second. He's been second before. They're racing to the final fence now, and it's Marcus Armitage from Chris Grant. It's Mr. Frisk from Durham Edition. Mr. Frisk lands 2 lengths clear of Durham Edition, but Durham Edition is making ground all the time. It's Mr. Frisk from Durham Edition as they race towards the elbow. Durham Edition, is he going to win on Arthur Stevens' 70th birthday? He's making ground all the time towards the stand side, but Mr. Frisk is holding him at the moment. They've got 150 yards to run. Mr. Frisk from Durham Edition as they race towards the line. Mr. Frisk is going to win it. Mr. Frisk has won it. Durham Edition is second again. Third is Renus. Fourth.
Just 3 to go for this, the 7th sponsor favourite in from 13 to 8. 4 to 1 Heart of Joy, 11 to 2 Negligent, 8's Bar the 3, and that looks like it. They're all set for the first classic, and away they go to a pretty level break, and indeed a very level break. And the early leaders on the outside, Lakeland Beauty, with her in the white cap is Ra'ah, stable companion of Hasbar, after just over half a furlong, and it's Lakeland Beauty and Billy Nunes making the running in the 1,000 guineas, followed by Ra'ah. Up on the outside in third now is Heart of Joy. They've covered almost 2 furlongs behind these leaders. Salsabil well placed over on the far side. On the near side now in a red cap, that's Hasbar, who's followed by In the Groove and Free at Last, and then Negligent the Grey right against the rails. They're coming now to the end of the 3rd furlong, where the back marker is Palace Street, but well grouped still as they pass the 5 pole, with the ones disputing the running on the right in the red cap. That's Hasbar. With Hasbar is Ra'ah. Those are the 2 leaders from Free at Last and Sally Rouse over to Graham Good.
Fascinating that they're all coming down the stand side. Walter Swinburne took Heart of Joy, and Steve Cawthon took In the Groove down the stand side going to post. They come past the 3, and it's now Sally Rouse that comes through with Ra'ah. A Free at Last running a big race. Heart of Joy cruising up on the outside. Following her is Salsabil. They've got 2.5 to go in the general accident at 1,000 guineas, and the race really developing now with Salsabil the favourite on the extreme left. Free of Last running a big race, but here comes Heart of Joy with that charge down the centre of the track. It is Heart of Joy and Salsabil back in third. Free at Last. Negligent is staying on. They race down into the dip, and it's Heart of Joy who has the call, pressed hard by Salsabil, then drawn clear of the rest inside the final furlong. Heart of Joy on the right, Salsabil on the left. It's a nip and tuck battle up towards the line. Salsabil and Heart of Joy, and Salsabil Salsabil gets it by a half a length, 3 parts. Arthur Joy second, Negligent third, Friet last 4, then Palace Street, then Sally Rouse, then Ra'ah, then In the Groove, then Lakeland Beauty, and last of all was Hasbar. And so the result of this general accident, 1,000 guineas. It's gone as the betting would indicate. The favourite has won the races, number 10, Salsabil, a daughter of Sadler's Wells, in the colours of Hamdan Al Maktoum, trained at Arundel by John Dunlop, and Willie Carson has broken his jinx in the 1,000 guineas. Second is number 3, Heart of Joy. What was Swinburne's ride, gave that daughter of Leafior a great ride, beaten by a better horse on the day. And they put daylight between themselves and the third horse, which is Negligent, the man of Pat Edery. There's our winner, Salsabil, a brave, battling, gutsy performance, and a determined one to boot.
What a tremendous finish, and the 6-4 favourite has won it, and what a finish this was in the sunshine. Sally Rouse went on just before halfway, but Heart of Joy was always going easily in just behind the leaders. Now she's gone on, but Willie Carson had her in his sights on Salsabil, and now the question is, can he catch her? Can Heart of Joy hold on?
Well, we've had a wonderful race from here on, and it's nip and tuck. You would have been hard-pressed to have said which one of these fillies would have got in front right on the line. Willie Carson there, though, you could never tell with Willie. He's just hands and heels. He's given Salsabil just a couple of cracks there. And in the end, well, Michael State couldn't have been more correct. We interviewed him before the race. He said that this filly would run well, but maybe she just might find one with a little bit too much speed. And that in the closing stages.
City 12 to long, along with El Mamul, and they go 20 to 1 bar those.
Well, we haven't seen the Duke of Devonshire's first runner in a classic, believe it or not. Park Top, his great mare, was never entered for a classic race, and Lord of the Field is representing him here in the famous straw colours, not in your picture at the moment, but we'll find him presently. And, well, he was beaten by Muqdam at Kempton, but then ran on really well in the Fielden Stakes here on this course, over 1 furlong further than the Guineas course. In fact, he's in the straw colours, Lord of the Field. A colt by Jalmood is ridden by George Duffield. Best of luck to him, and here's news from John.
Immense confidence developed now in Machiavellian. 6-4 is the general price, but one bookmaker is still calling 13 to 8. 6 Anshan, a week 8 now, listen, and good strength in Tyrrel from 12 to 1, 9 to 1 now Tyrrel. Sure Sharp's out to 12, 10 to 1, 12 to 1 against the Rock City, and 12 Carson's horse El Mamul. But there's no mistaking the confidence now. The public have caught on to Machiavellian. The bookies are in full retreat. They're going to have to pay out, and I believe they know it now. 6-4 is the price, the favourite.
And as the last one goes in, wishing them luck, hand over to you, Rawley Gilbert.
Thanks a lot, John. We're looking at Anshan and Tyrrell. They'll be the last two to go in. So just like last year, 14 runners for the General Accident 2,000 guineas, and this time 3 trainers are double-handed: Richard Hannon, Guy Harwood and Barry Hills. This one, though, is with John Gosden here at headquarters. That's one of Richard Hannon's 2, Tyrrell, with the brown and white hoop cap, brown sleeves, the other one, of course, being Rock City. 2 challengers from France, the hot favourite, Machiavellian, 6-4 now, Anshan 13 to 2, now listen, 8 to 1. It's 9s bar the 3, and they're virtually all set for the Guineas. All in, the starter has them under orders, and they're away, and all the way to a very level break indeed. The first to go on is Sure Sharp, but only just, from El Marmel, with Swordsmith moving right up there with the sash. Swordsmith and Anshan, 2 of Sheikh Mohammed's 3, El Marmel next in 3rd. After them, Rock City, and then Lord of the Field, with the leader still, El Marmel. El Marmel, midfield is Seti Msil for France, and with him too is Rami in the red cap, and just after those, and in fact the last 2, is the favourite Machiavellian. Last of all, blinking for the first time, is Welney, but they're coming through the 3rd furlong now, and out in front it is Anshan, just the leader in the 2,000 guineas. Anshan from Swordsmith, Sure Sharp, Seti Msil and Lord of the Field in the pale, jagged out towards the outside, running down to the halfway point in the Guineas, over the grandstand, and Graham.
Machiavellian's going to have to do it the hard way, coming from behind, horses on the rails. That's the white cap behind the red cap, that's Rock City, and they're bunching up front, and it's Swordsmith who has it, with up on the outside Anshan, white cap on the wide outside is Sure Sharp. Just in behind these comes Lord of the Field, and the Machiavellian's in behind behind them last at this stage as they come down past the 2. And it's Swordsmith and Anshan up on the outside. Cheltenham's coming with a run. Rock City, Machiavellian, looks through him. Elmar Moore's not out of it, a wide open race. Anshan has the call from Tyrrel, who's putting in a big run. Here comes Machiavellian, the favourite. He's got room now, but Tyrrel has first run on him. Machiavellian down into the dip to stamina now. It's Tyrrell and Machiavellian. Back in third is Anshan and Rock City. And it's Tyrrell going on. Machiavellian is going to pounce to the last half a yard. But it's Mickinan and Tyrrell going on. It's Tyrrell in the lead from Machiavellian. And Tyrrell beats Machiavellian. Anshan third, Rock City fourth. City NCL, then Weldon, then Elmar Moore, and now Listen, and Shaw Sharp and Rami. And behind these, Dashing Blade, Rajwaki and Swordsmith. And so the result of this, the General Accident 2,000 guineas. It's a win for number 13 Tyrrell in the colours of Mr. John Horgan, trained at Marlborough by Richard Hannon and ridden by the champion Irish jockey Mick Kinane, one of the many champion jockeys riding here today on General Accident 2,000 guineas day. Second horse home is number 5 Machiavellian. Freddie Head buried in behind horses next to the rail and gave that horse a lot to do, but did he stay it out in the last furlong? That's one for the breeding pundits. Third horse home is number 1 Anshan, that one ridden by Walter Swinburne, and it's a close call for fourth with number 9 Rock City probably getting fourth. But a brave run by this Tyrrell, who was well up there virtually throughout and got first run down into the tip, and Tyrrell has done it in the colours of John Horgan. That's the winner then. That's Tyrrell, 3 clear of Machiavellian, who was closer with half a furlong to run. The gap is 2.5 to 3 to Anshan back in third. The yellow colours of Rock City is fourth. What a triumph for Richard Hannon, first and fourth in the 2,000 guineas. And of course, Richard Hannon won the race a few more years ago than I care to remember with Monfils. And don't forget me, this man Hannon has done it again. And of course, in a similar owners, Don't Forget Me in the cerise with the black sash. This one, John Horgan in white with the brown sleeves and the brown and white hoop cap. A great run then. Mick Kinane brought over especially to ride this horse. We've had champion jockeys of Great Britain and France, but a steward's inquiry has been called to the outcome of this General Accident 2,000 guineas. I wonder if it'll be into Machiavellian having to get out to deliver his challenge. That's going to be interesting, and that's one for the paddock pundits as well. Number 13 Tyrrell then, a son of Thatching, has won.
We're going to look at the head-on film. First of all, Swordsmith has been making the pace for Anshan, and any moment now Anshan will take over in the lead. And the thing to watch for, John, is the path Freddie Head steers, I think, as he comes through on the favourite.
Yes, because if you see him, he's right on the rails at the moment, stuck in behind the yellow and red colours there of Rock City. Now look just over to his left, and Mick Kinane on Tyrrell, already beginning to just push his way through there. And at this stage, now Freddie Head suddenly said, right, this is it, the gap's not going to come here on the rails, let's get and do something about it. And both him and Tyrrell have come over. I don't think that Machiavellian, he's come at a fair angle, and perhaps he's given Elmer Moore a right bump. I didn't think he'd gone over as far as that in actual fact. The winner, though, hasn't affected anybody. He's kept a straight line. Mick Kinane's given him a lovely ride, and you can see just how far at this stage Machiavellian's come over, having been on the rails. But at the end of this race, he's really quickened up for a short space, Machiavellian. But in the end, Tyrrell's quickened up as well, and he's won a couple of lengths, and he's won really nicely. Let's not take anything away from him by saying Machiavellian was boxed in for a while.
He's got every yard of the trip, Tyrrell, and I'm not sure that Machiavellian did quite see it out. As you say,
plenty of time with that long straight to correct it. Well, before we pick up some of the other runners, let's catch up with the result.
This is the 2:45 at Thirsk, and it was won by number 5, Vestige, 2-1 favourite. Second was number 4, Rathbride's Joy, 8-1, and third was number 10, Sweet and Low, 7-2. Now we have another result for you. This is from Newbury, the 240. First, number 4, Stereo, 11-1. Second, number 7, Parting Moment, 12-1. And third, number 5, Castle Courageous, 25-1.
Well, the stalls are in the centre of the track, you might say, and I think one of the reasons for this is because in the old days they used to come right down the stands rail, and very often it's turned into a rough race. Although there's never been big fields, the jockeys are inclined to bunch, and they sometimes go a forced gallop, and when the jockeys from behind are trying to see a bit of daylight to get out, because they've gone a forced gallop, they stay in that sort of flying wedge, and sometimes you can get a very rough race for this race. But I think this has made it much fairer. As you see, the stalls that are closed are out in the centre of the track, and hence they don't get to the rail quite so soon. There's number 2. This is Mark of Distinction. This son of known fact proved himself a force to be reckoned with this season when beat in City Dancer by 2 lengths. That was for the Trust House 40 mile at Sandown 3 weeks ago, with Magic Gleam 3rd and Safawan back in 5th place. I think we might see those two improve a bit today, but as I say, I think this is going to be a really high-class performer over this distance this season. He's running in the colours of Mr. Gerald Lee, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if we don't see this horse have a crack at the Breeders' Cup at the end of the season, John.
I thought, Jimmy, that Frankie Dettori rode a particularly cool race on Mark of Distinction at Sandown, because Pat Eddery and Steve Cawthon really went for it early in the straight. Pat went for home on Magic Gleam. Steve moved up to challenge him on City Dancer, and Frankie Dettori just bided his time, and when he unleashed Mark of Distinction in the last furlong, the colt quickened up really well. So I'm sure Frankie won't be in any hurry today. There is the filly, Magic Gleam, out on her own over towards the far rails. She made the running at Sandown. Do you think we'll see a change of tactics here, Jimmy?
We could do, John, but I don't think Pat will be too against going on with her, but I think we're going to see a big improvement on her. She looked a little big in the paddock that day. She is a lovely filly, and I remember her when she gave that terrific run when beaten only half a length by the brilliant Golden Opinion in the Coronation Stakes at Royal Ascot.
That was certainly a race to remember, because Magic Gleam and Golden Opinion had this tremendous battle. Golden Opinion appeared to be going much the best, but Magic Gleam made a fight all the way to the line, and I remember Cash Asmussen saying at the finish that he hadn't got a drop of petrol left in the tank. Let's have another look at the betting.
And Mark of Distinction 6-4 now, distant relative 4-1 from 9-2. Safawan 5-1. Green Line Express is 11-2. Magic Gleam 8-1 from 9-1, and Monster Gem stays on 12-1.
Number 3 going in is Green Line Express, who could well figure prominently in top races over a mile and possibly a mile and a quarter this season. Monster Gem goes in, the outsider of the party, but certainly not without a chance. There's Mark of Distinction and Safawan, and here's Peter O'Sullivan.
And that's it. Monster Gem nearest to us. And they're away. They settle down in the early stages. Nobody anxious to make this a strong pace at all. Green Line Express, the white face of Magic Gleam, showing towards the right there. Green Line Express just behind, and to the left of the picture is Monster Gem, and Monster Gem being followed by Safawan. And it's Magic Gleam and Pat Eddery from Monster Gem and Green Line Express. Mark of Distinction over on the far side, distant relative, and Safawan the back marker. Magic Gleam by about a length from Monster Gem towards the left as they come down to the half-mile pole. Green Line Express comes next, then over on the far side, Mark of Distinction. Behind them, distant relative, and last Safawan. Still Magic Gleam and Pat Eddery from Monster Gem. Steve Cawthon, Green Line Express going well, distant relative getting closer all the time now. Mark of Distinction making a run now towards the far side as they come down towards the 2-pole in a wide open race. And Magic Gleam being pressed by Green Line Express. Mark of Distinction on the far side, Monster Gem under pressure. Safawan coming there on the inside, and now coming from behind, distant relative to try and get on terms with them at the furlong pole. And Safawan has taken it up now and looks to have grabbed the race as they race up the hill. Safawan is going clear now, being chased by distant relative, and as they come to the line, Safawan has won this. Distant relative is second. Monster Gem is just third, ahead of Mark of Distinction and the long-time leader Magic Gleam. And finally, was Green Line Express, and so the result. First, number 6, Suffer One, owned by Mrs. David Thompson, trained by Michael Stout and ridden by Walter Swinburne. Second was number 1, Distant Relative, owned by Mr. Wafik Saeed, trained by Barry Hills and ridden by Michael Hills. And a photo for third. Monsagem, I beg your pardon, Monsagem number 5, third, and a photo for fourth place between Magic Gleam and Mark of Distinction. But this is the winner. Safawan by Young Generation, Ala Safita by Habitat. Ultimately, the very impressive winner of this Jutmont Lockinge Stakes.
Yes, he's done it again, last to first again. There he is, still last to the 2.5 furlong marker, and obviously he wasn't quite so spectacular this time against the Group 2 horses, and indeed Wald didn't ask him entirely to stretch and go for broke straight away. Frankie Dettori, meanwhile, cantering on the other side of Marcus Distinction. When would he go? In the centre, Magic Gleam's hanging on in there, as is Green Line Express. But Distant Relative dropped away rather tamely today. Now Walter goes for his whip, asks his mount to quicken for the second time, and he goes 2 lengths clear, whereas Mark of Distinction produced a rather disappointing response. And behind, as you can see, Distant Relative, having dropped out of it 1.5 furlongs from home, gets his second win and runs on really well to chase home the winner. He looked more like finishing last than second, but Safawan, who stepped up in grade, has done it in style and put up an outstanding performance in winning here. Here's the head-on, as you can see, Safawan brought on the left by Walter Swinburne, just pulling his whip through there. And on the wide left now, as we look at them, is Distant Relative, who looked like dropping away. Steve Cawthon riding with his whip in his left hand, and Frankie Dettori, as I say, goes for his whip on Mark of Distinction and gets a most disappointing response. Green Line Express here drops out in the last furlong. But here you can see Michael Hills has accepted the position.
Royal Academy and Lotus Pool are still to be loaded. Royal Academy, strong support for Vincent O'Brien's colt. That's him sideways on there behind the stall. He's to go in to stall number 6. The unbeaten Lotus Pool will be entering stall 5. Betting show before they get on their way with Tyrrel, the 11-10 favourite, Machiavellian 9-4, Royal Academy 4-1, Lotus Pool is out to 14-1 now. Mr. Brooks is 25-1, Noble Patriarch 33-1, Legal Verdict 50-1, 66-1, Bastille Day, and 100-1 and better, Dickens Lane. Royal Academy safely in, and Lotus Pool has gone into stall number 5, and they're off and racing in the early Coolmore Irish 2000 Guineas. Dickens Lane towards the outside, over towards the centre, Tyrrel. No great pace on early. Noble Patriarch is towards the left with Mr. Brooks, the horse with the white face, on the inside. They're heading across towards the elbow now, and Dickens Lane on the outside going on. Noble Patriarch in second, then Tyrrel there, followed by Mr. Brooks, and behind Mr. Brooks comes Lotus Pool. Pace quickening up quite a bit now as they race across towards the elbow, and it's Dickens Lane in the lead, being followed by Noble Patriarch. Mr. Brooks on the inside, Tyrrel close up towards the outer, then Lotus Pool, and behind Lotus Pool is Machiavellian. And the one at the back on the right is Royal Academy as they race towards the 5 furlong point now, and Dickens Lane is the leader from Noble Patriarch. Tyrrel close up on the outside, Mr. Brooks just behind them, and then Legal Verdict on the inside of Lotus Pool. Machiavellian comes next, behind Machiavellian Bastille Day, and Royal Academy is last of all. They're just past the halfway stage, and Dickens Lane from Noble Patriarch, Tyrrel on the outside, then in 4th place Lotus Pool, then Mr. Brooks, then Legal Verdict being ridden along, Machiavellian trying to get closer. Bastille Day is next, and Royal Academy towards the back and on the outside. Past the 3 marker now, Noble Patriarch the leader, tackled by Tyrrel. Mr. Brooks trying to make ground. Lotus Pool is just in behind them. Royal Academy, Machiavellian is in behind them, nowhere to go as they race down now towards the final furlong, and it's Tyrrel the leader. Tyrrel from Lotus Pool, Royal Academy on the outside, Machiavellian switch to the outside, and inside the final furlong Royal Academy comes to tackle Tyrrel, and they're followed by Lotus Pool, and then Machiavellian. They're inside the last half furlong, and Royal Academy on the near side. Tyrrel on the far side is going to be close. Tyrrel on the far side of Royal Academy as they go to the line. It's Tyrrel's Guineas by about half a length. Royal Academy is second, then Lotus Pool, Machiavellian, Mr. Brooks is 5th, and they're followed in by Bastille Day, Noble Patriarch, Legal Verdict, and Dickens Lane is a long way last. So Royal Academy hitting the front inside the last furlong. For a few strides it looked as if he was going to do it, but Tyrrel, rallying well under Pat Eddery, has gone on to win it by about half a length. Tyrrel has become the third horse to complete the English-Irish 2000 Guineas double, following Right Tack in 1969 and Don't Forget Me for trainer Richard Hannon back in 1987.
Well, this is the result the public here would have wanted anyway. Tyrrel takes it up over from Noble Patriarch with over 2 furlongs to run. He's been in front a long way. He's a lazy type of horse. John Reid has come from the back of the field, pooching along nice and slowly on the right of your picture there on Royal Academy. Mick Canaan is working there on Lotus Pool. Directly in behind Tyrrel is Bastille Day. Over on the far side, Mr. Brooks. Machiavellian has to switch to the right outside of Royal Academy. At this stage, Royal Academy looked like he was going to come with a winning challenge. But when Pat gets a couple of smacks at the Tyrrel, he really quickens up. He's a top-class horse that loves a battle. Royal Academy is sticking to his task well here, but Tyrrel puts out his head. He's a real top-class horse, this fella, and goes away at the line. Royal Academy has given all he can, sticks to his task well, but he's not good enough for Tyrrel, and Tyrrel wins snug enough for the line by about a...
Then Pilot Army, the favourite. Braeswick is next. Then Ciel Amour towards the outer, with Batchouf next as they head through the first furlong and a half, and the leader now Pirate Army, who's gone up to lead from Ciel Amour in second, and 3 Petrullo and 4 Braeswick. Behind Braeswick is Kostroma, then Glowing Star, and behind Glowing Star Batchouf with Welsh Love and the back marker Top Boot. Going a good pace as they pass the mile pole, and Pirate Army has a lead of a length and a half over Ciel Amour. Behind Ciel Amour, Petrullo on the inside of Braeswick, then a gap of 2 lengths to Kostroma. Glowing Star is next, and behind Glowing Star comes Batchouf. After Batchouf is Welsh Love, and behind Welsh Love Top Boot as they start to climb the hill with over 3/4 of a mile to race, and Pirate Army is 2.5 lengths in front of Ciel Amour, who runs second, half a length to Braeswick. Behind Braeswick, Petrullo, then another 2-length gap to Kostroma. Glowing Star on her outside. Behind these Batchouf, and then Welsh Love, and finally Top Boot as they come to the 5-pole, the halfway stage in this Tattersall's Rogers Gold Cup. And it's Pirate Army and Franco Dettori in the lead by 3/4 of a length from Ciel Amour, Christy Roach. Braeswick and John Reid close up in third, then a gap of 2 lengths to Petrullo and Michael Canaan. Behind Petrullo, Glowing Star, then Kostroma, Batchouf and Pat Eddery, 3 from the back ahead of Welsh Love, and last of all is Top Boot as they race down towards the home turn. And it's on the inside Pirate Army, Ciel Amour second, 3 on the outside Braeswick, Petrullo on the inner. The grey is Glowing Star, then Kostroma, Batchouf just in behind them. They straighten up, under 3 furlongs to race. Pirate Army the leader from Braeswick on the outside. Ciel Amour comes under pressure. Petrullo gets a run up the rail ahead of Kostroma. Batchouf is getting ever closer on the outside of Glowing Star. Inside the 2, and it's Pirate Army from Batchouf. Petrullo on the rails, and as they race down now towards the last furlong, it's Pirate Army the leader. Petrullo, Batchouf on the outside, and Batchouf quickens up. It's another for Pat Eddery here. Batchouf cruising home to win it. Batchouf quickening up well and going clear in the closing stages. A battle on for the minor places, but Batchouf wins it very easily. Pirate Army is second, Glowing Star is third, and they're followed in by Braeswick and Top Boot, and then Petrullo. Behind Petrullo came Ciel Amour, Welsh Love, and Kostroma was last of the 9.
Proving just that kind of a race. If you want to back a horse and the bookmakers go a fraction over the odds, punters are in for it. A smashing betting heat all round, depending upon the price. Now 9-2 Mr. Frisk, any bookmaker goes 5, that will be taken. 11-2 each of 2, Seagram and Sam Da Vinci. 1-2 bookmakers do call 6-1 those 2. It's then 7-1 in places, Durham Edition, though 13-2 is the general price, and absolutely rock solid, it won't be gone long. 7-1 that, any bookmaker went 15-2, they get it. 8-1 Four Tricks, so 15-2 is general, and it's 16-1 Kildemo. A smashing betting heat here on the shoulders. 9-2, Mr. Frisk is favourite.
One of the freshest horses in the field is John Jenkins' Runner. That's in the colours there of Broderick Munro Wilson, brown with the yellow spots. He's only had the 2 runs so far this year, and then the second of those came in the top of Up at Liverpool, where he finished 4th behind Won't Be Gone Long. John's horse has been in really good form. They've been running well both on the flat and jumping, and he's got a very good jockey in the saddle there, Mark Perrott.
And Brod Munro Wilson tells me that in that race at Aintree, 8 Springs pulled a plate off, They don't know exactly when it happened, but it certainly can't have helped him. And he wasn't by any means disgraced behind Won't Be Gone Long. Still, I'm afraid it will still make the handicapper look a little bit, blush a fraction if he wins. 9-2 Mr. Frisk now, 11-2 Seagram and Durham Edition, and 13-2 bar those three. And there you are, Graham, the best of luck to all of them.
And I'm sure they'll need it. A very grueling test, 24 fences to be jumped in excess of 3.5 miles. And it doesn't look as if Mr. Frisk and Marcus Armitage want to go. They're just facing the wrong way. So too Sam Da Vinci. There's Captain Keith Brown, the starter, about to mount the rostrum. Just a 13-runner lineup. We've had bigger fields, but we've seldom had a more competitive field with such wide open betting. And any one of the 13 at this stage obviously has a chance. Even the 100-1 shot in Guineas Theon. The white flag is raised, and 3.5 miles in front of them. Mr. Frisk, the habitual front runner. Sam Da Vinci got out a lot of the running last year. Memberson comes with a run. Won't Be Gone Long should be hunted up mid-division, and old Memberson pawing the ground. He wants to get on with it, as do the crowd here. Stands absolutely packed. And there's a bit of money for Durham Edition right at the death. A 6-1 shot from 13-2, but away they travel, and quite a short run to the first fence. And it is Mr. Frisk and Seagram, and Won't Be Gone Long and Memberson who attack the first, and they all jump it safely. Kildemo is the back marker. The second one they take is a ditch. Mr. Frisk by a length to Won't Be Gone Long and Memberson, and then Seagram with a red cap, and Strands of Gold and Sam Da Vinci in behind them as they take the ditch. And at the ditch, they've all jumped it safely and well. And Mr. Frisk, ears pricked. What a grand sight he is as he comes up past the stands with 2 circuits to go. And it's Mr. Frisk. Look at that, poetry in motion, in the lead by a length. To Won't Be Gone Long second. Memberson's on the outside. The red cap is Seagram, that's just in behind them. Sam Da Vinci going the shortest way with Enganasi Theon, Strands of Gold on the outside. Durham Edition and 8 Springs and 4 Tricks, and Vulcan Warrior and Kildemo and Tarkany. And as they swing right-handed and go down towards the third, it's Mr. Frisk in the lead. Mr. Frisk going on by a couple of lengths now to Won't Be Gone Long and Memberson, and then in behind these comes Seagram, who's settled in 4. Followed by Enganasi Theon and Strands of Gold and Sam Da Vinci, and then behind these comes Durham Edition, and behind Durham Edition is 8 Springs as they take the third. The leaders skip over it, and they're all over the third. They swing right-handed into the back straight where they have 7 to jump. Mr. Frisk by a length and a half to Won't Be Gone Long and Memberson, and then Seagram settled 4, and Enganasi Theon and Sam Da Vinci and Durham Edition and Strands of Gold, and 8 Springs and Vulcan Warrior as the leaders skip over the fourth. And the back 4 of 4 Tricks, Vulcan Warrior, Kildemo and Tarkany, who's just the back marker. Quickly to the next. A plain fence, all take it well, although Kildemo at the rear of the field a little bit sketchy. Another ditch now. What a bold jump by Mr. Frisk, and he gained lengths in the air there. He's enjoying himself, and I'm sure Marcus Armitage's jockey is too. Won't Be Gone Long is second. Sam Da Vinci shares third with Seagram, and then Enganasi Theon followed by Memberson, and they take the water jump, and it's Mr. Frisk over in the lead. The back marker is Kildemo, and the top weight really isn't enjoying his jumping at this stage, and he's some 25 lengths off the pace, and it's Mr. Frisk who's setting it. The 3 island fences, Mr. Frisk attacks that one, and then in second place moving up is Sam Da Vinci, and then Won't Be Gone Long as they take the middle of the 3 island fences. Durham Edition is jumping well mid-division. 4 Tricks is sharing last place as they take the last on the far side for the first time, and they're all safely over 10 fences in this 34th running of the Whitbread Gold Cup. The leader there, Mr. Frisk, bowling along in front. Won't Be Gone Long keeping him in close contention. Back in third is Sam Da Vinci. 4 is Seagram. A length and a half to Enganasi Theon, and then comes Durham Edition and 8 Springs and Memberson and Vulcan Warrior and Strands of Gold and 4 Tricks and Tarkany, and the back marker is Kildemo. And they're all in the picture as they head towards the pond fence. This is the 11th. and it's Mr. Frisk who leads, with Sam Da Vinci, the horse with the noseband, on the inside, and another bold jump by the leader, and they're all over the 11th, and Four Tricks is nearer last than first. They've completed a circuit. Down towards the 12th then, and Mr. Frisk out in front, enjoying himself. They're all jumping well so far. Won't Be Gone Long's in second, and Sam Da Vinci on the inside, giving up position to absolutely no one. Shares second now. Seagram's back in 4, and on the outside, 8 Springs and Engunasi, Theon and Durham Edition and Vogan Warrior and Tarkany going the shortest way as they take this ditch. And so the order, having jumped 13 fences, and they're all jumping perfectly. The order then as they pass us is that Mr. Frisk is leading, still going well, ears still pricked, clear by 3. To Won't Be Gone Long and Sam Da Vinci and Seagram, and 8 Springs creeping closer on the outside of Durham Edition and Engunasi, Theon 2 back to Memberson and Vogan Warrior and Tarkany and Strands of Gold, and Kildemo really getting a little bit closer now, and Four Tricks is the back marker. Perhaps the ground, John Frankham, is too fast for him.
Well, maybe that is the case. They've only gone a sensible gallop, but this horse is really enjoying himself up in the front of affairs. Mr. Frisk, he only looks like he's been lobbing along. One of the interesting things is that Kildemo never looked happy at all in the beginning of the race, but look at him there, he's on the outside of the picture in the yellowish colours. He's jumping much better at the moment.
And he's coming to take the 14th fence, and it's Mr. Frisk who takes it in the lead, and they've all jumped 14, and indeed Kildemo is on the outside of the pack, and they're all queuing up in behind Mr. Frisk, and they've got 7 more fences to jump in the back straight, 3 in the home straight, 10 in all then. And as they come in to take this, Mr. Frisk, the 9-2 favourite, Seagram 5-1, and Sam Da Vinci is the 11-2 shot as they take the 15th. Quickly to the 16th. And it's Mr. Frisk and Sam Da Vinci and Won't Be Gone Long. These clear by a couple of lengths to Vogan Warrior, who's making a bit of ground, so to 8 Springs and Durham Edition, and Mr. Frisk put a short one there. Four Tricks is starting to make a bit of ground. Strands of Gold is the back marker, and they head towards the 18th of the 24 fences. Mr. Frisk clear by 4 to Sam Da Vinci and Vogan Warrior on the inside of Won't Be Gone Long. And then 8 Springs and Durham Edition and Four Tricks is now making his move. And then Tarkany and Seagram and Engunasi, Theon and Memberson and Strands of Gold and Kildemo, and they've got 6 more to jump. And Mr. Frisk comes to take this in the lead, and Sam Da Vinci's in pursuit in second place, and they're still all jumping well. 5 more to take, and it's Mr. Frisk in the lead from Vogan Warrior and Sam Da Vinci, and Durham Edition is getting closer at the last on the far side, and it's Mr. Frisk the leader now. Strands of Gold is tailing off as they take the last on the far side, but Mr. Frisk from the front, and he's still out there in front. Vogan Warrior next to the rails is second, with Sam Da Vinci, and behind that one Durham Edition getting closer for Chris Grant. And can Mr. Frisk do it? Won't Be Gone Long, and Kildemo, the classy horse, is making great strides on the outside of the pack, but he's under pressure so to do, and they line up for the bond fence, a third from home. And what a great race in prospect, and Mr. Frisk with on the inside of him Vogan Warrior, and Durham Edition, his great rival, is putting down a big challenge, and Sam Da Vinci goes there, and there was a faller at the pond fence, but it's still Mr. Frisk in the lead. The horse is okay. Mr. Frisk is in the lead, but it's Durham Edition in the light blue on the right. 2 to jump. Mr. Frisk by half a length to Durham Edition in second. Won't Be Gone Long is third. Kildemo is back in forward. Four Tricks is staying on, and they've got 1 to jump, and it's Mr. Frisk who finds acceleration to take the last fence in his stride and come home 4 clear of Durham Edition, and Won't Be Gone Long at Four Tricks in the 34th winning of the Whitbread Gold Cup. The national winner goes on to win this. Mr. Frisk has it clear by 8 to 10. Mr. Frisk the winner from Durham Edition second, Four Tricks is third, and then came Won't Be Gone Long, followed by Sam Da Vinci and Tarkany and Kildemo, and then Memberson and Seagram, and then 8 Springs, and finally it was Engunasi Theon. And so the result of this, the 34th. So that's What a Rome going in. That's what they're lined up. And they break away. On the extreme right is Delistan, on the extreme left with the noseband is Mashari, and as they come to the first furlong it's Mashari tracked by Panoramic. On the far side of Delistan, also up at the pace, is What a Rome. Just in behind them comes Top Waltz, and Blash is there prominently too in the yellow jacket in the centre of the picture. So through the first quarter mile, and it's Mashari leading by about half a length to Blash on the inside. A racing third is Delistan, and with that one What a Rome. Then comes Top Waltz, and at this stage stage, Theatrical Charmer is nearer last and first, and Sanglamore is plumb last, and they've gone through the first 3 furlongs. And it's Mashari leading by about half a length. Blash in the yellow colours is second. Antemis now comes to be third, with Panoramic and Anvari sharing mid-division spot. Then Epervier Bleu, top waltz. Water Worms in the red jacket on the wide outside, just tracking Adelistan. And it's still that one's pacemaker leading from in second place Blash, and the field trail back to Theatrical Charmer, who's second from last. Last of all is Sanglamore, and they've got under a mile left to race. And it's Mashari leading by half a length to Blash in second. Then running next to the rails is Panoramic, with Anvari on the outside of him. Antemis is bang there too. And then Roderigo making great strides on the outside. And Sanglamore is still last. They head down towards the halfway stage in the Prix du Jockey Club Lancia. And it's still now Blash going on in the yellow jacket from Mashari in second place. Top Waltz in the blue and red comes to be third on the wide outside. Roderigo shows 4, and then Anvari 5. Epervier Bleu is making ground on the outside of Antemis. Panoramic is looking for room on the inner. Then comes Sanglamore and Elderistan, and then behind that one is Passing Sail, and Theatrical Charmer is still nearer last and first as they sweep round the final bend. And it's Blash who hugs those rails. Top Waltz on the outside of him. Wide in red is Roderigo, and then behind these comes Anvari with a sash. Epervier Bleu is 3 from the right of the picture. Adelistan is coming with a run too, but they're well in line for home inside the final quarter mile, and Top Waltz going on. Here comes Panoramic in the white sleeves, coming with a big run. Epervier Bleu in the light blue cap, followed by Elderistan, and then behind these Sanglamore and Panettone really start to get into gear. They're inside the final furlong, and Epervier Bleu, the French favourite, now pressed on the inside by Sanglamore. Epervier Bleu and Sanglamore with Elderistan back in third, and Sanglamore's driving hard, and Sanglamore takes the lead as they race up towards the line. Sanglamore's going to win it. Sanglamore is a winner from Epervier Bleu second, with Elderistan in third, and then behind these Top Waltz in 4 and Panoramic 5, and then Theatrical Charmer mid-division. And so a great triumph this in the Prix du Jockey Club Lancia for number 1 Sanglamore in the colours of Khalid Abdullah. This one trained by Roger Charlton and ridden by Pat Heddery, his third win in the race.
And what a beautiful waiting race Pat has ridden.
Quest for Fame is an 8-to-1 chance, and if Quest for Fame wins, they will...
Sorry we are late.
The winner of the 1989 RAC Rally. Mitsubishi Motors, designed to be driven.
Replacing all of this because of water damage might cost £300. Could I have prevented it?
Yes, with Thompson's Water Seal.
Repairing this water damage properly could cost me hundreds.
Thompson's Water Seal would have prevented it. Brush Thompson's onto wood, brick or a concrete patio, and it penetrates to form a long-lasting barrier water can't get past.
Now I can prevent water damage and save money with Thompson's Water Seal.
Thompson's Water Seal, a great defense against repair expense.
If you like pasta for your dinner, add fresh cream. You're on a winner. Oi, scream for cream. And when you serve tomato soup, just grab fresh cream and loop the loop. Oi, scream for cream. Food like fruit salad. Oi, scream for cream.
I have a secret, but I'm a little shy, and I can't just tell anyone, so you'll only hear it if you're telepathic. Thank you for listening.
When you eat Ryvita, it makes watching your figure a lot more enjoyable.
You're looking at the stalls from the back view. Remember, the number 1 is on the far left near the rail, and 6 and 7 are where the pacemakers are going to come out of. Treble 8 has got very little brakes in 6, and Aromatic in 7. Then, interestingly enough, Gerard Mossy has drawn 9, just 2 away. You must look for him on Dynamics to see how he settles early on. And Fancy Horses have drawn out wide. Steve Cawthon is drawn 14 on Ratseen. Pat Edery is drawn 10 on Quest for Fame, and Zoman is drawn 15. So look, 14, 15, 16, out to the right. But very, very important to watch from the stalls where your horse is running. Here's how they bet.
Brazil, the 5-to-1 favourite. Zoman is 6-to-1. Lilimix also a 6-to-1 chance, and Quest for Fame on 7s. Blue Stag at 8-to-1, El Marmoul 12-to-1, and Coringa Bay at 14s, along with Digression and Duca Paducah. River God 28-to-1, and Cahill at 50s, along with Missionary Ridge. Mr. Brooks is 66-to-1, with Treble 8 at 100-to-1, together with Bastille Day. Automatic also now a 100-to-1 chance, in from 250-to-1. Sober Mind 150-to-1 from 200-to-1, and Bookcase now the extreme outsider at 200-to-1, all coded for the Derby Stakes.
Well, except for the very coolest of the jockeys, the nerves begin to build up, must a little bit begin to build up at this stage. We talked to some of them earlier on and asked them what they thought of their chances, starting with Richard Quinn.
For me, Lilimix is a horse we've all got to beat. He got first run on me at Longchamp. If it was reversed, I might have beaten him there.
But what about the changing weather conditions? It seems very difficult, so there's some rain in prospect.
Well, I don't think it will affect our horse, and we'll stay. There's not a problem there.
I'm never right to Epsom, but I have looking a lot of movie, and I walk on the grass, and I think the track is not very hard.
Well, I mean, he was the favourite, just up to about 10 days ago, and, I'm just very happy to, not only have a ride in the race now after both of my horses have gone wrong, but I still think, he's still got a chance because he was giving a lot of weight away that day at Goodwood, and, I mean, he's the class horse.
Well, it's a daunting task for any jockey who has never ridden at Epsom before to partner such a leading fancy as Lilimix, but that's what's in prospect for this 23-year-old Frenchman there on the left, Gérald Mosse. He'll be coming out of stall 9, and in what is the toughest flat race in the world to win, there's no doubt at all he'll get no favours from the other jockeys, and will he be able to settle the French colt early on? 50-year-old Brian Rouse has seen it all before, of course. He once had to wait 17 years for his second winner, but his mount Coringa Bay takes a hold, so he should be up there as well. Treble 8 is another free-running sort. Bruce Raymond says he won't fight him, so he'll be with the leaders early on, as will River God. Michael Canan tells me he'll keep him handy, but we expect Aromatic to cut out the early running and make it a true test of stamina. That's what we expect to happen in the early stages, but of course it can all change so dramatically coming round Tattenham Corner. And although people like Willie Carson, Pat Edery and Steve Cawthon have all done it before, make no mistake, this is a very tense time indeed for the 18 jockeys in the 1990 Derby.
As you can see, quite a steep hill that goes on for half a mile to the top of the hill, and it's there, up that hill, that this fellow, Razine's wind, will be tested. He does still make a slight noise. You can hear him coming. I don't say it's at all a bad one, and it certainly hasn't affected him in his 3 races so far. But this is the Derby. This is Epsom. And the first 4 furlongs are not only fast, but they're also sharply uphill.
And with 18 runners here, one of the most important things is getting half a decent run. You've got to be in a position, you don't want to be trying to make up ground coming down that hill because it's almost impossible. They're going right into top gear then, so you've got to have a position by the top of the hill, and well, you just want a horse with a little bit of speed. You've got then to be able to sit, and you want something with some stamina at the end, which is why it's the test that it is.
Talking to Willie Carson the other day, Willie told me that he didn't really like too low a draw. He's drawn 4 on El Marmoul. He feels that if you're drawn low, as you can see, the course bends to the right, and if you're drawn low, you quite often have to use up a bit of energy in order to stop getting cut off when the course comes back into the left at the top of Tattenham Hill.
Yeah, it's amazing, all of the luck that needed to go into getting a Derby winner, which is why Sheikh Mohammed still hasn't had one. You've got to have the luck of the draw, you've got to have the luck of getting the horse there. And somebody who's down there sitting with people playing with their luck, John McCririck.
Well, Sheikh Mohammed is being backed to do it with Razim in 9-2 favourite. I fancy it. A few others do as well. Money also for El Marmul now, whose 10-1 has been a 13-1 chance. It's 6-1 against Linamix and 7-1 Quest for Fame and 6-1 Zoman, 14 Coringa Bay, Juka Bajuka money for that, and 14-1 Aromatic, who was 500-1 this morning, is into 100 and 150-1 now to be the longest Derby price winner ever. On the shoulders, 9-2 Razim.
Digression, Coringa Bay and Treble 8 are all to go in late, and you can see that those three are indeed still the ones out of the stalls, as is the French colt Linamix.
Zoman's only just going in over into stall 15. Hopefully he's just about to go into stall 15.
9-2 Razine now, 6-1 Zoman and Linamix, 7's Quest for Fame, and 8 bar those 4. And that's the view from a position on the roof of the stalls, so to speak, looking down and across. The numbers, don't forget, always from the left as you face the starter, so that number 1 here is on the inside. Linamix still hasn't gone in, nor has Coringa Bay, and nor has Treble 8 in the cross belts here.
Pleased to see that Digression settled down a little bit. He got on his toes earlier in the first part of the parade, but there are only 2 left to go in. So Graham, let you get on with it.
So they're lined up for the 211th Derby with Digression in the white cap and Treble 8, both scheduled to go in late. They are so doing. Things to look for early are the grey colours of Linamix, settled, mid-division. Razine is in the maroon with the white sleeves, as we look at them on the right of the picture. The blue colours on the extreme right is a rank outside of Mr. Brooks. There's just 1 to go. That's it, they're lined up. And they're away. And early on, the pacemaker Aromatic has missed the break. That's absolutely crucial, and there doesn't seem to be that much pace on early. And as they settle down through the first furlong, it's Linamix, the grey horse, not settling, but River God is going with him, with the white cap on the outside. El Mamul and Duke of Paducah, and looking through the field for the pacemaker Aromatic, he's last. It's River God, and now he's taken a lead with Treble 8. Treble 8 with the noseband, who's come through to take it up. Treble 8 the leader. From a length to El Mamul, then Linamix and River God is wide. Razine is settled mid-division. Bookcase is nearer last and first, and Aromatic is last. They come through the first quarter mile, and it's Treble 8 the leader, from River God in second, and then El Malmul is next to the rails in third. They go to the top of the hill with Treble 8 leading from River God, then El Malmul, and then behind these comes Quest for Fame. And then just in behind these, Digression. Bookcase is towards the back. So too at this stage is Sober Mind, but they're jockeying for position as they get to the halfway stage, and it's Treble 8 leading. Treble 8 from River God in the white cap and El Malmul and Mr. Brooks, and then Quest for Fame well placed. Missionary Ridge is up on the outside. Duke of Paducah as well there. Linamix is perfectly placed, and the back marker as they begin the descent to Tattenham Corner is Sober Mind, and Aromatic is out the back too. Treble 8 leading with the pink cap, white cap. That's River God. Pink cap is Quest for Fame. Linamix, the French horse, is well placed. And then behind these comes Mr. Brooks. El Marmul runs the rail. Behind these wide, Missionary Ridge with a sponsor. Zoman is now well placed. Also well placed is Razine, who's mid-division. Coringa Bay is getting reminders as Cahill comes with a run-through on the inside. Sober Mind is last, and they're beginning the descent to Tattenham Corner, and it's still Treble 8 from the front, powering clear of Quest for Fame in the pink cap and palettery. El Marmul behind these. Linamix gets no run. River God starts to drop back. Zoman comes with a big run in the dark green jacket and passing the 3. It's Zoman, the horse with the white face. Quest for Fame in the pink cap. Next to the rails is Treble 8. Coringa Bay coming with a big run. Blue Stack starts to unleash a run. Razine is beaten. They race down through the final quarter mile, and Quest for Fame in the pink cap and palettery strike and go on from Treble 8 and El Marmul in blue. Zoman and then Blue Stack the battler with Coringa Bay on the wide outside inside the final furlong, and it's Quest for Fame and palettery. He holds the aces, and he's coming clear, and Blue Stack will get a place, so too El Marmul up towards the line. It's Quest Quest for Fame, Panetta's third Derby, Blue Stag is second, El Marmol third, then Cahill in four, followed by Coringa Bay, Duca Paducah, Zoman, Linamix, and then Treble 8, and Missionary Ridge and Sober Mind and Digression and Bookcase, and Razine, who beats Bastille Day, and then behind these came River God with Aromatic, and last of all was Mr. Brooks. Those two shared last place. The result then of this, the ever-ready Derby, it's a win for number 13, Quest for Fame, in the same ownership as the French Derby, that's Khalid Abdallah, the same trainer as the French Derby, that's Roger Charlton, and the same jockey as the French Derby, that's Panettary, and Quest for Fame has won at 7-1. The second horse home is number 3, Blue Stag, in the colours of Robert Sangster. This one trained by Barry Hill, so he's second yet again in the Derby, ridden by Cash Asmussen, who battled bravely up the run in. The third horse home was El Marmol and Willie Carson, well placed throughout, and I think we'll find that the record books show the maiden Cahill staying on through beaten horses to take fourth place. But hats off to a great victory, hats off to Pat Edery, hats off to Roger Charlton, hats off to Khalid Abdallah, the homebred winner of the ever-ready Derby.
I suppose you'd have to say that Roger Charlton has made rather a good start to his career as a trainer. Not one Derby, but two. The last person to do it was a Frenchman, and from Tattenham Corner, Treble 8's been in front from the start, and from Tattenham Corner, the Abdallah colours were looking awfully dangerous. We had thought, John, that Linamix was going to take a hand coming down the hill. He collapses awfully quickly.
Yes, he didn't get much of a run either. He's had a good position at the top of the hill. Didn't get much of a run, but faded in the closing stages. But as soon as Pat Edery sent this horse for home, then really and truly it was only Blue Stag, who was struggling to go the pace early on, that was ever going to give him much of a race. Cash Asmussen's given him a couple of backhanders and he starts to run, but the race is all over then. And this is a wonderful start for Roger Charlton. So long he's been assistant to Jeremy Tree, and I think, Mr. Tree, you're sure to be watching at home. Hope you're on the mend. I know you haven't been too well lately, and I should think you're more pleased than anybody that your pupil has started off just how you probably hoped and dreamed that he would.
And here's the finish from another angle. Look at Cahill running very well in the background in the pink colours, but really throughout the last 3 furlongs there isn't much danger. Coringa Bay, who certainly didn't come down the hill at all, runs on well on the outside, but Quest for Fame, what a triumph for Rainbow Quest. This is his first crop. This was a member of his first crop, Rainbow Quest, who of course won the Arc de Triomphe for Khalid Abdallah, although after a steward's inquiry. I hope and think that there won't be one here today.
Here's the second and third. Blue Stag second, El Marmol third, and just coming on is Cahill. And well, Pat Edery, John, he's been riding in superb form this season. He's won over £1 million already since he was a 2-year-old. They're all in. Let's go over to you, Graham.
Estimated total value for this Hanson Coronation Cup is £135,000, and through the first furlong it's the front-running Ibn Bay who leads with Observation Post. Got the ground right for him today, perhaps. Top class in the check jacket, now back in third, and Observation Post takes up the running by half a length. 2, Ibn Bay in second, and then top class third. The German horse Mondrian settled 4th, and in the wings and the back marker is Roseate Turn, some 6 to 8 lengths off the leader at the end of the first quarter. And it's Ibn Bay on the left, Observation Post with a white cap and his tongue hanging out. Back in third is Top Class, 2 lengths back to Mondrian and Steve Cawthon in 4th place. And then comes in the wings, the back marker is still Roseate Turn. And they continue this uphill climb through the first half mile. And the next pole they'll pass is the 1 mile from home, with Ibn Bay leading. Ibn Bay, the leader, by a length and a half, to Observation Post in second, a gap of 4 lengths to Top Class, and then comes Mondrian, followed by In the Wings, and Roseate Turn is still last. They come down past the 7 pole, and Ibn Bay, grand performer this. If you ever go racing and get a close-up of this horse, Ibn Bay, you know what a racehorse should look like. He's in the lead by a length and a half. To observation post in second, and then back in third is Top Class, and as they pass the 6, halfway in the handsome Coronation Cup, Ibn Bay by a length and a half to 2 to observation post, and then a gap of 4 lengths to Top Class, 1 to Mondrian, 1.5 to Win the Wings, and Roseate Turn still the back marker as they race down past the 5, and Ibn Bay asks for more, and he gets it. Richard Quinn does. Is by 2 lengths now to observation post in second, and behind the other 4 very closely grouped indeed. They begin the descent round Cheltenham corner on a railing that takes them wider than they did in the Derby, and in line for home now, just over 3 to go, and it's Ibn Bay in the lead, setting sail for home. Observation post in second place, In the Wings with the white sleeves, Mondrian with the red sleeves, Roseate Turn with a lot of running to do. Top Class is dropping away as they come down to the final quarter mile, and observation post now has been given the office, and he goes on. Ibn Bay can find no more, and the challenge now comes from In the Wings in the white sleeves and Cash Asmussen, who's travelling very strongly indeed as they a furlong and a half to go. Observation post runs next to the rails, but he's being joined and passed by In the Wings. A very classy performances by In the Wings. Observation post in second, Ibn Bay is third, and as they race well inside the last half furlong, it's In the Wings going on. Observation post pulled outside but can find no more, and it's In the Wings the winner. Observation post second, Ibn Bay third, then Roseate Turn and Top Class.
Less mature and powerful, less powerful and younger than the others, and she is. It'll be a marvellous achievement if she wins.
Salsabelle and In the Groove, the 2-to-1 joint favourites. Kazajana 7-2, Garam 11-1, ahead at 16s along with Knight's Baroness. Cameo Performance 33-1, and Game Plan the outsider on 50s, all coded for the Oak Stakes.
He's going to play. Well, tactics are going to play an important part here. We expect Ahead to live up to her name and try and dictate matters from the front. That's her going in, number 1. Game Plan is also a hard puller, so this one should be handy early on. Knight's Baroness, just going in there in the dark green, is another who could also be one of the early pace setters. Katajana there in the green with the red epaulets will probably be thereabouts, but we expect the 2 classic winners In the Groove and Salsabelle to be held up for a late run.
And there's more money for Garam, 10-1 from 11s. And indeed, if they go a slow pace, that'll certainly help Salsabelle, and it'll certainly help the other fast finisher In the Groove. But they race through the first furlong, and it's Cameo Performance and Ahead and Garam with on the wide outside Knight's Baroness, and it's Garam and Ahead and Cameo Performance and Knight's Baroness all vying for the lead. Katajana followed by Salsabelle. In the Groove is a back marker, and Game Plan is last but one. They race through the first quarter mile, and it's Ahead in the dark jacket with Cameo Performance in the light cap. Then behind these, Knight's Baroness racing wide, Garam with a red cap on the outside, then Katajana and Salsabelle, followed by In the Groove, who has that devastating turn of foot, and Game Plan on the inside. And they race through the first 3 furlongs, and it's Ahead racing next to the rails, with Cameo Performance on the outside of her, half a length back to Knight's Baroness showing third, and then Salsabelle running away on the inside of Katajana. Garam with the red cap shows 6, Game Plan and In the Groove held up for that late swoop that she does so effectively. And they come to the top of the hill. They've gone through the first mile, and the pace looks steady and strong. It's Ahead leading from Cameo Performance. Salsabelle slips through next to the rails. Knight's Baroness as they pass the 7, closing up on the leaders. Then Garam and Katajana and Walter Swinburne just asking her to keep her position and Game Plan. And In the Groove is the back marker going extraordinarily well. As they come to the halfway stage, it's Ahead and Ray Cochrane, who won the race on Midway Lady, leading by a half. 2 Knight's Baroness in second, and Katajana on the outside of Salsabelle, and then Garam followed then by Cameo Performance just dropping back, and then Game Plan and In the Groove really cruising. Katajana of the front 3 in the betting is the first one to be pushed along, but it's still Ahead who leads as they begin the descent to Cheltenham corner. Ahead in the lead from Knight's Baroness in the dark green, with running next to the rail Salsabelle in blue. Behind these, Katajana looks cooked. In the Groove comes with a run. Game Plan full of running in behind them as Ahead goes for home. they race down to the 3. Garum is last, Cartagena last, but one. Walter Swinburne's accepted it, and it's Night Baroness. But here on the outside in the yellow cap comes Game Plan. Salsaville looking for room and finds it and goes well and quickens up and comes to take the Gold Seal Oaks. It's Salsaville and Willie Carson driving for home. They've taken a length out of the others. Night Baroness ahead next to the rails is very tired. In the group, Paul Boy can't find more, and they come inside the final furlong, and it's Salsaville well clear of Game Plan. In the group could get a place, but Salsaville driven up toward the line, and Salsaville finding extra pace, and Willie Carson wins the race yet again, and Salsaville is the winner. Game Plan a big run for second, Night Baroness third in the group 4, then came ahead 5, a big gap to Cameo Performance, and behind Cameo Performance was Garum. Last was Cartagena. The result then of this, the Gold Seal Oaks, the 2-to-1 favourite, Salsaville has won. That's number 11 on the card in the colours of Hamdan Al Maktoum, trained by John Dunlop, who won the race with Circus Plume, ridden by Willie Carson, who's won the race with Firmin Barim and Sun Princess. The second horse is number 4, which is Game Plan, a big outsider coming through under South African ace jockey Basil Marcus, and the third horse home is number 8, Night Baroness, in the colours of Fard Salmon, trained at Wokingham by Paul Cole, ridden by Richard Quinn. Game Plan's jockey Basil Marcus, and it was Clive Britton who trained the filly there in the background, number 4. But Willie Carson in the Nashwan colours has won on Salsaville, and he's won his 4th Oaks and his 50th winner of the season.
And the first sad piece of writing on the wall was that when Cartagena came off the bit as they started down the hill, ahead still is ahead with Knight's Baroness chasing her, but already you can see that Willie Carson is going very, very well on Salsaville. In fact, there's one moment when he just seems to be just a little bit short of room between the leaders. I'm sorry, he pulls round Knight's Baroness, goes between her and Game Plan, and the moment Salsaville's nose gets in front, it's all over.
Yeah, she's quickened away from these other 4 fillies really well, and in the groove, never really got herself going from when she come round the bend. And at this stage, Salsaville's gone for home. Willie Carson, we've seen him in this position plenty of times before in classic races, pushing head down, going for home now, and Game Plan running on really gamely in the closing stages. And I think that Knight's Baroness just held on to be third. She'd always been up there in the van, and she deserves that 3rd place, I think just ahead of In the Groove. Knight's Baroness. Knight's Baroness, they're really galloping on well in the closing stages, but the filly we're looking at there, number 11, Salsaville, she's won quite convincingly, answered a lot of questions, John.
That's Allborn, who's gone into the stall nearest to us. This is Magic Gleam, number 5, going into stall 9. Luna Mover and John Reed go into stall 3. That's Safawan, the cross belts there. 7-4 favourite still. Distant relative 5-2. Mark of distinction is 13-2. It's 10-1 bar 3. Big shot goes in on the far side. Monster Gem's about to go in. They're all going in very quickly. That's Safawan, and I think Distant Relative's the last, so let's join Peter O'Sullivan.
Yes, that's it. Allborn nearest to us. Under orders, and they're away. Pretty good even break too. Pat Edery making his way over immediately, you'll notice, from the left of the picture on Magic Gleam, coming right over towards the stand side to join Monster Gem. These being followed by Allborn. Vague Shot racing wise of the others. Tracking the 2 leaders is Luna Mover with the sheepskin noseband, but it's Pat Edery on Magic Gleam, come right over from stall 9 to the stand side to make the running. The champion jockey from Monster Gem. Vague Shot on the far side, Distant Relative on the near side, with Allborn close. Luna Mover just in behind them, past the 5, well past the 5, and still Magic Gleam with Monster Gem trying to press him towards his outside. Then Vague Shot just in behind them. Distant Relative travelling smoothly, so's Allborn. They're coming down past the half-mile mark, and as they do so, it's still Magic Gleam Magic Gleam in the lead, on the near side, making ground all the time is Distant Relative. Allborn just in behind them. Monza Gem has dropped right out of it. They're coming down to the 2 pole now. Making good ground is Mirror Black towards the left of the picture, towards the outside. Allborn has taken it up. Mark of Distinction is moving well just in behind the lead too. And it's Distant Relative who's just about taken it up from Mirror Black. Magic Gleam on the near side, and here comes Mark of Distinction and Frankie Dettori to come and storm into the lead on the near side. Mark of Distinction taking it up now as they race towards the line. It's Mark of Distinction who's going to win it from Mirror Black at the line. Mark of Distinction's the winner. Mirror Black is second. Third was Distant Relative, and 4 Magic Gleam. And tailed off last, dramatically tailed off last, was Henry Cecil's representative, Steve Cawthon's ride, Monza Gem, who finished about a furlong behind the remainder. But no doubt about the winner, Mark of Distinction, owned by Mr. Gerald Lee, trained by Luca Cumani, who won it back in 1987 with Then Again, and ridden by Franco Dettori. Officially, it's a photograph, but there's no doubt about the winner. Second was number 6, Mirror Black, owned by Mrs. C.A. Webster, trained by Peter Macon and ridden by Bruce Raymond. And third was number 1, Distant Relative, owned by Mr. Wafiq Saeed, trained by Barry Hills and ridden by Michael Hills. Fourth was number 5, Magic Gleam. That's the result, and here's the winner, Mark of Distinction.
Well, there's no better system than follow a stable in form, and this is Luca Cumani's 8th successive winner. And what a ride from Frankie Dettori, who's come from last place at halfway, threading his way through. He wasn't sure whether to go round Pat Eddery on his outer or come through on the rails. Luckily for him, Pat's Mount Magic Gleam has drifted away from the rails, and Frankie Dettori has thrust through. His horse carries his head a little bit askew there. Mirror Black, who's run a terrific races there on the outside. Distant Relative hit the front and looked for a moment as though he'd win, then dropped away, couldn't stretch on this ground. Safawan most disappointing, but coming up to the line, Mark of Distinction wins it in style by half a length from Mirror Black, and a little way back to Distant Relative, who's run a good race to be third. Well, the head-on picture will show the difficulties that confronted Frankie Dettori until Pat Eddery's Mount Magic Gleam drifted away from the rails. And there you can see the opening comes enough to drive through a number 49 bus. And Frankie's only problem now is his horse possibly just shying away from the Ascot crowds here. Over 50,000 people here, and whether that's the reason for his carrying his head like that, and he's just wanting to get away from that rail, as Pat Eddery's horse had done. Meanwhile, Mirror Black and Bruce Raymond running the race of his life. Mirror Black on the outside of those two. Look back at the beaten horses. Back in 5th is Safawan, tailed off is Monza Gem, and whether it's the firm ground or other problems, horses haven't shown their form, but Mark of Distinction has. He's won the Queen Anne Stakes by half a length from Mirror Black.
Yes, the letter P is still in the frame, but very little doubt that the Mark of Distinction has beaten Mirror Black, who may have slightly interfered with a Distant Relative. It remains to be seen whether the stewards are going to have a look at that. But what a sound performance by this son of known fact out of Gillane, who was by Ice Capade, winner of the Trust House 40 Mile from City Dancer. And unsurprisingly, there is a stewards' inquiry, and there's little doubt that that inquiry will concern a Mirror Black and a Distant Relative, and the stewards will be having a look to see whether Mirror Black, when he did wander over towards the stand side, undoubtedly did interfere with Distant Relative in the process. And this, of course, would mean a turnaround of the placings if they decide that it had. But I think it's safe to assume that Mark of Distinction, who is now announced the winner of the photograph, was not involved. Second was number 6, officially. Third, number 1, was Distant Relative. Fourth was number 5. But this is subject to a steward's inquiry. So let's just have another look at the head-on version, and you'll see mirror back towards the far left of the picture with Bruce Raymond with his whip in his right hand, and consequently, or maybe not necessarily as a consequence, but he has definitely gone over. You'll see that Michael Hills had to snatch up a distant relative there. He had a really quite a nasty moment, Michael, and I think this well, if you have the forecast mark of distinction to beat Mirror Black, I would keep your fingers very firmly crossed, because there's positively no guarantee whatever, I'm afraid, that you will draw. In fact, probably distant relative a more popular choice with the forecast punters. But how brilliantly mark of distinction stretched out there, didn't he, just in those closing stages. The Kumani horses invariably come good at the right time for the Royal Meeting, and he's landed a 7-to-1 winner in the traditional opener, the Queen Anne Stakes, and of course he has a very strongly fancied runner in our third race, the St James's Palace Stakes, in Lord Flory, who will also be ridden by Frankie Dettori. Meanwhile, the full starting prices, pending, of course, the outcome of the Stewards' inquiry, on the Queen Anne Stakes as follows.
First, number 2, Mark of Distinction, 7-to-1. Second, number 6, Mirror Black, 20-to-1. And third, number 1, Distant Relative, 9-to-4. And remember, the stewards are looking into the running of this race.
So the Italian connection gained first blood at the Royal Meeting. Luca Kumani and Frankie Dettori, both of them in fantastic form at present. I hope to be talking to Frankie Dettori shortly, if time permits. The distances were a neck in the end, and 5 lengths, and obviously the Stewards' inquiry continues. Doesn't look too good for the second horse, looking at that head-on. The time for the first race was 1 minute 39 and bits. That's about 1 second outside the record, so the ground is very, very fast. The wind is blowing, the fashion scene is becoming éblouissant. People are coming out from the stands and wandering down towards the paddock looking for bars. Jeff Banks is here to describe it.
Thank you, Julian. As you say, yes, they're all now moving around after that race and all looking extremely hesitant. This young lady particularly is wearing a stunning ostrich-trimmed hat. As I said earlier on, not many feathers around here this year, but this is one of the few, and it's a hat that's been designed by a lady called Genevieve Lewis that mainly sells through Harrods. Obviously, a lot of top people here today. This is a sort of Trompe l'Oeil hat. It's in straw, and the stalk of the flower seems to go straight through the lady's forehead. I'm sure it doesn't, but it's absolutely beautiful creation. This here is, again, a little bit retrospective of last.
Start at a shorter price, but as I say, the only filly in the race, John, I'd give her a bit of a squeak outside chance, wouldn't you?
Yes, and she'll drop right out in the early stages, I should think, Jimmy, and she can come with a tremendous run at the finish. She was doing that at Sandown. She looked as if she was going to trouble Hazian and Scenic, but lack of a previous race told against her at the finish. She was a very big price when she won the race you were mentioning at Deauville last year.
Mickey Canaan on us in the saddle. Well, she won't lack from any horsemanship in that direction. They're going in nice and quietly. I think now's the time. We'll go to Peter.
Yes, Jimmy, just 1 to go. That's Pelorus. And then they'll all be installed for this Prince of Wales Stakes. All 8 runners. Pelorus just getting a little help. And that's it. All in, under orders. And they're away. And Alcando left quite a little bit, dwelt in these stalls, and Relief Pitcher and Steve Cawthon go on in the early stages from Dolpor on the inside of Bat's Hoof. Then Legal Case on the outside of Pelorus. Behind them Scenic, and then comes Terraman and Alcando, and Relief Pitcher passes the mile post with a good 3-length advantage, blazing the trail at a very fast pace on this firm ground, with Dolpor in second and Bat's Hoof third. Scenic goes 4 ahead of Legal Case and 5. Behind them come Pelorus, and then Terriman and Al Can Do past the 7 pole, and Relief Pitcher and Steve Cawthon by 4 to 5 lengths from Dalpur, then Batsouf, Scenic on the outside, Legal Case, Pelorus, Terriman and Al Can Do. Coming up to the 5 marker now, Legal Pitcher, still Relief Pitcher with his commanding advantage. A good 6 lengths clear of Dalpur in second, Batsouf third, Scenic 4. Racing past the half-mile pole, Relief Pitcher is still well clear of Dalpur in second, Batsouf making good ground now in third, 4 Scenic, 5 Pelorus, 6 and 7 A Legal Case, and Terriman Al Can Do is the back marker. Steve Cawthon is still clear as he turns into the straight, and racing towards the 2 furlong pole in this Princess of Wales Stakes, Relief Pitcher about 3 clear now of Batsouf and Pat Edery moving into second and threatening them now as Relief Pitcher is under pressure and Batsouf is being shaken along. Then comes Dalpur and then Terriman and then Al Can Do making ground from the rear. Relief Pitcher on the far side by only half a length now from Batsouf, who's challenging. It's Batsouf and Terriman putting in a tremendous run to the near side. Relief Pitcher, Batsouf and Terriman as they come to the line. Relief Pitcher and Batsouf, it's a photo. Batsouf and Relief Pitcher. Batsouf on the near side, Relief Pitcher on the far side. Terriman was third in Legal Case 4. It's a photo with Batsouf possibly just getting up on the near side to head Relief Pitcher, but my goodness, Steve Cawthon did not want to be denied. But it looks as though his great rival, the champion Pat Edery, has just touched him off on the line. It's close between these two. The favourite Batsouf, number 2, and Relief Pitcher, number 5. See what you think as we review the closing stages.
Well, what a terrific race this was, and Steve Cawthon made it a race by setting this blazing gallop on Relief Pitcher, which made it a true race. It was certainly what Batsouf wanted, but he really had to struggle to win. And the surprise packet was Terriman. Look at his green cap coming from way off the pace, moving into 4th place. Just a furlong and a half to go, and Relief Pitcher and Steve Cawthon starting to show distress signals, but galloping on really strongly in the front. This was a brave manoeuvre, and it so nearly paid off, and Steve's given this horse a terrific ride. For a moment I thought that Michael Roberts was really going to drive Terriman into contention here and even go and win, because Pat's gone for everything here on Batsouf, who doesn't really like this ground quite as firm as this, but he's responded terrifically well to driving. But Steve's horse keeps on giving a little bit more on the far side and is desperate in the last 50 yards. Our 2 top jockeys, Cawthon on the far side, Edery on the far side, Michael Roberts only a neck down. On the nod at the line, for me it's Batsouf, Relief Pitcher second and Terriman third, but what a race.
Yes, it looks like number 1 of the meeting for Pat Edery on Batsouf. At the end of this Prince of Wales, still the verdict to be announced. Sadler's Wells son, Batsouf, number 2, and Welsh Term son, Relief Pitcher, number 5. Pat Edery on the 87 mark he was when he set out before this race. Steve on the 59 mark. Batsouf by Sadler's Wells out of Steel Habit by Habitat. And he's the finisher, of course, on the near side of the 2. He was being congratulated there by Mr. Muta Salem and Ben Hanbury. Batsouf, the 2-to-1 favorite. Relief Pitcher a 10-to-1 chance. 13 of our 39 runners in our first 4 races at Royal Ascot. The 4 races we're covering live are Arab-owned, and this looks like an Arab winner for sure. Certainly been accepted as such by the customarily immaculate Ben Hanbury there, patting his son of Sadler's Wells. And of those 13 Arab-owned horses, 8 of them owned by the Maktoum family. Here comes the outcome of the photo. Watch them waiting expectantly. Number 2, Batsoof is the winner. Second, number 5, Relief Pitcher. Third, number 7, Telemin. Fourth was number 1, Legal Case. Couple of game horses there, weren't they? And brilliantly ridden. Winner and loser. Here are the starting prices.
First, number 2, Batsoof, 2-to-1 favourite. Second, number 5, Relief Pitcher, 10-to-1. And third, number 7, Terrimon, 14-to-1.
Well, what a race that was, and the distances, predictably, a short head and a neck. And the official time, 2 minutes 6.72 seconds. That is very, very fast time indeed. Royal Ascot racing at its very best. As one has to say, the storm clouds seem to be gathering. Well, the Royal scene has very often inspired horse artists to some of their finest work, and certainly Royal Ascot features very strongly in a recent exhibition of work by the distinguished Argentinian artist Adriana Zeffira. Here's how Adriana sees racehorses and the racing scene. This is the artist who created that assembly of talented work, Adriana Zeffira. Adriana, what attracted you in the first place to the horse?
Well, I find the horse the most fantastic mover, and he's such a great, so romantic, such a fantastic, fabulous looking animal. And, I always fancied it as being the best and the most gracious animal on earth, really.
Initially, you intended to work with the horse rather than paint him, didn't you?
Well, coming from a very sort of city-based family, I wanted to get close to animals as I love them so much, and I tried to become a vet until it was a long story.
Irish 2,000 guineas. There's a suspicion that this horse doesn't get a strongly run mile race, and there's no doubt that today will be strongly run, because Anshan is a proven front runner. So is the horse in the picture on the left there, Eton Lad, and I wouldn't be surprised if Shavian goes off very fast too. So there's at least 3 that are likely to set a strong pace, and so Royal Academy will have to get every inch of the mile. This is quite a tough mile as well. That's the last furlong or so before they reach the Old Mile start on the round course here. There's the junction with the round course. They start in a spur, just going for about a furlong before they join the round course proper. The 2 with the sheepskin nosebands, which are easy to pick out in running, on the right, Dashing Blade, and one from the right is Book the Band. Number 5 is Eton Lad, who won at Epsom on Derby Day, winning the Diomed Stakes in the hands of Cash Asmussen, who misses the whole of Royal Ascot owing to a suspension. Eton Lad just held on by half a length from Landiap, with Filia Ardros back in third place. He was flat out to win that day, and he faces tougher opposition here. But this is a really courageous colt, sure to give a good account of himself. I was saying earlier that another one likely to make the running is number 9, Shavian, who's won just one of his 4 races. He won here as a 2-year-old last season when he beat Lord Flory into third place in a 5-runner race, winning by 3 lengths and 1.5 lengths. He's had 2 runs this year, running third to Tyrrel, the subsequent winner of both the English and Irish 2,000 guineas. Shavian was third to Tyrrel in the Craven Stakes at Newmarket, beaten by a short head and a length and a half, and he ran 4th to stable companion Razim in the 1.25 mile predominant stakes at Goodwood. He's a half-brother to Pian, who won the Ascot Gold Cup over 2.5 miles here 3 years ago, and in very soft going too, but whereas Pian was by Bustino, Shavian is by the miler Chris, who actually won this race, ridden by Joe Mercer. But Shavian hasn't really gone out in front in his 2 races this year. He's been up there, but I think possibly Steve will be anxious to set a stronger gallop this time. Though whether he'll actually be in the lead with the likes of Anshan and Eton Ladd, I don't know. It looked there as if Rock City was going to go in backwards for a moment. Rock City just a little bit on his toes. The parade certainly doesn't help these horses. They get very restive. When they're mounted in the paddock, they know that there's a race coming up, and they have to wait a long time for it. Lord Flory, 9-4, clear favourite. 4-1 Royal Academy, 9-2 Anshan, 11-2 Rock City, and it's 10-1 bar the 4. The 3 yet to go in are Shavian, Royal Academy and Call to Arms. Shavian goes straight in to stall 4, the high numbers nearest to us on the inside. That's Call to Arms going in. Here's Royal Academy. Just going to have a look before he goes in. Another one in the sheepskin noseband, and the blindfold goes on, and he goes backwards a bit further. He knows where the stalls are at the moment, but it's curious how easily the horses lose their sense of direction after a turn or two, and they can be fooled quite easily. But Royal Academy is not going to be fooled because he's shaken the blindfold off, and I think they've decided that he's better off without it. It was only upsetting him. Some horses it doesn't seem to upset at all, and he was nearly going to go in, and then he said no just at the last minute. Royal Academy drawn 1 from the inside at number 8. John Reid will be anxious to drop him in to try and conserve his stamina. The one nearest to us is Rock City in stall number 9. On goes the blindfold again. The handlers try to reassure the colt, who's throwing his head about a lot, and wonder if he'll throw the blindfold off again. Yes, it certainly worked last time, and I'm afraid he's not at all keen on the idea. A few years ago they were very strict on the number of chances they gave horses, but recently I've seen horses given a dozen chances or more, and nearly that time that was the nearest he's got to going in. And they're going to try and get him in fast.
Take him away.
Take him away, the starter says. So here's Peter O'Sullivan. Royal Academy will not take part.
So it's 8 runners. Rock City just a little bit slow. Call to Arms was very slow, and Shavian has gone on in the early stages. Shavian gone on from Anshan on the inside. Booked the Band on the outers right up there too. But Shavian making it from Anshan. Booked the Band. Then on the far side is Eton Lad. Just behind Eton Lad is Rock City, who made up that ground, and behind Rock City is Call to Arms, and then Dashing Blade on the outside of Lord Flory is one of the back markers at the moment, and it's still Shavian who's making it. Shavian and Steve Cawthon, who tried to make all on the previous race. In the previous race on relief, Pitcher has a 2-length advantage at the 5 furlong pole from Rock City, who's moved into second. Anshan is third on the outside. Book the Band comes next, and then Call to Arms and Dashing Blade, and behind them Lord Flory and Eton Lad. Still Shavian passing the half-mile pole with a 2-length advantage over Rock City in second. Anshan third. Book the Band 4 on the outside. 5 is Call to Arms. 6 is Dashing Blade. 7 is Lord Flory, who's got it to do from there. And 8 and last is Eton Lad, with of course a non-runner in this Royal Academy and turning for home. And once again Steve Cawthon has a 2-length advantage, this time on Shavian. Rock City is second, the Jim Crack winner on the outside. Then comes Book the Band. Anshan is trying to put in a challenge, and here comes Dashing Blade on the outside, but they're racing down to the furlong pole, and it's still Shavian and Steve Cawthon with the advantage from Rock City in second. Then comes Call to Arms, Dashing Blade on the outside. Lord Flory is finding some pace now, but it's too late as they race up towards the line. It's Shavian clear of Rock City. Lord Flory is finishing fast, but Shavian has it sewn up as they come to the line. Shavian has won it from Rock City, and Lord Flory in a photo of second and third. Dashing Blade 4. Behind them came Book the Band and Call to Arms. Behind Call to Arms was Anshan, and last was Eton Lad. And just to remind you once again that Royal Academy took no part. The result first, number 9, Shavian, owned by Lord Howard de Walden, trained by Henry Cecil and ridden by Steve Cawthon, and it's a photo of a second place, a photo between Lord Flory and Rock City. It's close between them, but it wasn't close for Shavian. The son of Chris out of mixed applause of Bajnaginski, who won the St James's Palace Stakes in great style. As we can review with Julian.
And what a brilliant front-running performance this is. Steve went off at a terrific gallop, and not for a moment did Shavian falter. Frankie Dettori not in the best of positions as they come in the straight, and the favourite Lord Flory looking for daylight now to pull out, but it's inside the 2 furlong marker. He's still got plenty to do, and Shavian coming under the whip now from Steve Cawthon isn't faltering. Rock City, after a slow start, been in contention throughout, not much more to give. On the far rails, Call to Arms has run a really good race until he's got tired. Dancing Blade flatters on the outside, but here comes Lord Flory now, who's got clear and starts to run, but he's got 6 lengths to make up inside the last furlong, and it proves to be just too much. Shavian, these tactics haven't been used on him before, over a mile, and he's proved brilliant today. He's kept on galloping, and he's answered every time Steve's asked him. He hasn't faltered. If he had, Lord Flory might have got in a blow, but as it is, the challenge is too late. He may have snatched second place from Rock City, but Shavian is a staggering winner.
Rider, Jimmy. And let's have another look at the betting. 7-2 Bold Russian, 8-1 In Excess, 9-1 Performing Arts, Anani and Mariensky, and 10-1 Bar. The colours we see in the foreground, those of Sheikh Mohammed, first and second in the first race at Ripon today. The winner, incidentally, trained by Michael Stout, and maybe that will signal a change of luck for Michael Stout, whose runners were rather disappointing here yesterday. Just going in there is number 12, Local Lass. On the far side is Revelation. This is Bold Russian. Bold Russian with the blue cap, in case you weren't watching earlier. Change of colours on him. That's Darik going in. There's Sayara, the grey, one of Michael Stout's 2 runners. And here's Mariensky in the blinkers and the royal colours. That's Performing Arts over on the far side.
She's nearly always last in, John. She can be a little bit of, not trouble, but she gets a little bit excited. But I think she's going to be the last. Let's go now to Peter.
Yes, that looks like it. They're all in, under orders, and they're away. And a pretty good even break too. Key Danzig, one of those in the centre, very fast away. Darik is right up with the early place too. Mariensky just behind her. Nani is just upsides Mariensky too. Darik with the lead from Mariensky, and Norwich under the stands rails. Norwich now just about the leader from Mariensky and Darik towards the right of the picture. Norwich from Darik, Mariensky, Seara over on the far side running fast. Running down now to the half-mile mark, and as they do so, it's Norwich, Steve Cawthon towards the right of the picture. Mariensky in the royal colours upsides him. Darik with a sheepskin noseband in the centre. Seara running fast, being chased by Regal Peace. Then comes Bold Russian in the Gordon White second colours. They're racing down now towards the 2 furlong pole. Mariensky, Norwich and Darik, who've disputed it so far, from Seara making good ground. Key Danzig over on the far side in excess is making ground. Anani trying to get on terms just in behind Norwich, racing down towards the furlong pole. Key Danzig on the far side, Norwich on the near side, Anani coming there. Sally Rouse is putting in a run, and also over on the far side, Bold Russian. Sally Rouse has just come to take it up now in the centre. It's Sally Rouse now as they race up towards the line from on the far side, Bold Russian. Sally Rouse from Bold Russian, and Sally Rouse wins it. Bold Russian is second, Key Danzig is third, 4 was Norwich. So it's the second colours of Gordon White on Bold Russian who run the best, but Sally Rouse definitely for me held the 2 Gordon White runners, number 14 and 1, this Jersey Stakes. But officially it's a photograph, a photo between number 14, Sally Rouse, owned by Sir Philip Oppenheimer, trained by Jeff Ragg and written by written by Gary Carter, and Bold Russian, number 3, owned by Sir Gordon White, trained by Barry Hill and written by Michael Hills, with third, number 9, Key Danzig, owned by Sir Gordon White, trained by Michael Stout and written by Walter Swinburne, and fourth, number 8, the long-time prominent on the rails, Norwich, owned by Sheikh Mohammed, trained by Barry Hills and written by Steve Cawthon. So I think we'll find Barry with 3 runners are settled second, third and fourth, but that Sally Rouse has won it.
Yes, that's the way it looks. Second, third and fourth. Norwich was the leader on the rails and the Sheikh Mohammed colours. Darik there with a noseband in the centre, still in contention at this point. Meanwhile, look for the blue cap of the favourite, with Michael Hills weaving towards the outside. Had to go round horses and had to go round the other Gordon White runner, Key Danzig, who'd moved into a good challenging position here alongside his stable companion Seara in the Aga Khan's colours. Performing Arts there on the outside, can't find any more. Now Michael Hills has got his run, he's come to the wide outside, but Norwich is still battling away there on the rails, and a lot of horses almost in line here, but this is the moment that Sally Rouse bursts through with the noseband, 1 off the rails, and Gary Carter drives his filly into the lead. The 2 Gordon Whites are upside, second and third there on the outside. Michael Hills going for everything on Bold Russian. Walter Swinburne encouraged by the good run of Key Danzig, because this is the best Michael Stout run of the week so far. Norwich runs on at 1 pace in 4th place. Barry Hills second, third and fourth, but a filly beats the lot. Jeff Ragg, who's had such a miserable season, comes good with this filly on the right day, a filly who had a great reputation before the season started, looked like being a 1,000 guineas possibility. She's won the Jersey Stakes by a head or a neck from Bold Russian second, and Key Danzig third, but there is a steward's inquiry. I said Barry Hill second, third and fourth, but of course Michael Stout trains Key Danzig second and fourth. I should have said Barry Hills, but there is a steward's inquiry, and only through looking at the head-on will we have an idea of why that would have been. The winner, as you can see, is there with the red cap, just behind the leaders on the rails, looking for room between the Queen's runner, Mariensky. Michael Hills, meanwhile, he's wearing the blue cap, and he's got to thread his way around horses. He doesn't seem to have caused any interference, as Gary Carter had to barge his way through what was quite a narrow gap to get through. He thinks of going to the left of Mariensky. Now he decides to go to the right. Is there any interference here? Meanwhile, Michael Hills made his way round towards the outside. And Gary Carter here has to come between a gap between Durig and Mariensky. The gap doesn't seem very broad, but he's got through it all right, and I really can't see if there was any interference there. On the outside, Michael Hills appear to have got there without causing any interference. Key Danzig's run on very straight. So here now the winner's just drifting a little bit to the right. Perhaps this is where the interference is caused in the last stages of the race. Sally Rouse drifting a little bit to the right, and now they're coming a little bit close together, these two. Sally Rouse certainly has drifted to the right in the last half furlong of the race, but whether there was any interference to Key Danzig, well, I would rather doubt it. Anyway, Sally Rouse has won in the photo, is confirmed the winner. Second confirmed is Bold Russian. Third is number 9, Key Danzig. And fourth is Norwich. Barry Hill second and fourth. And the winner is returned at 20 to 1.
So definitely first round to the books on the second day of the Royal meeting, with Sally Rouse the winner, and the starting price is, pending the outcome of course of the steward's inquiry, as follows.
First, number 14, Sally Rouse, 20 to 1. Second, number 3, Bold Russian, 100 to 30 favourite. And third, number 9, Key Danzig, 11 to 1.
So, the outcome of the first race subject to a steward's inquiry, and the second day gets off to a bad start for backers with a 20 to 1 winner there, but it'll be a popular one for Jeff Ragg after what so far has been a slightly disappointing season for him. For now, the sun's gone in, the clouds are looming overhead, it's getting very grey indeed, and the wind is getting stronger. But the British are stoical, they're moving towards the paddock, and well, they're certainly not hanging about undercover. As you can see, up to 60,000 people here, all with a thought in mind to meet their friends and possibly to back a winner. Here's Jeff Banks.
Thank you, Julian. Thank you very much indeed. Well, this is traditionally a ladies' affair, Ascot. But in fact, it's not only the ladies that actually steal the day here. I think the men tend to get a look in as well. So for just a second, I'd like to have a look at men's fashion and see what the chaps are up to. In fact, the traditions of Ascot dress go back to Beau Brummel, who in fact once said that men of elegance should wear waisted black coats with pantaloons. He said that in about 1780, and that was rather than breeches and boots, which were actually considered to be rather ragged, and he wanted to smarten gentlemen up. And he certainly would have been proud of this young man here, who is wearing a hand-painted Paul Smith waistcoat, who told me that he still gets frowned upon when he goes into the royal enclosure. Here is a man who's actually a little more traditionally dressed. There's always conjecture as to whether or not gentlemen should wear black toppers or grey toppers. This man's got a black silk on and looks extremely elegant in my opinion. I always think that it should be a black topper on the first day of Ascot and grey from then on in, but it always creates constant argument, and there's always tons of discussion in the end.
And with this damp atmosphere, they're inclined to fog up a little bit. It was rather interesting when Julian, in fact, was having a chat there with Dean McEwen about his goggles. Well, in America, even in a 5 furlong race, they'll go out with 5 or 6 pairs on, and they'll have them down to the last pair by they get to the winning post. So it's, in fact, on the dirt, they have to ride with many more sets of goggles on the dirt. And, of course, it's when it gets sloppy, it really sticks. But it's a knack, really, is being able to drop them down. Well, the Swinburne goes in. Heart of Joy, 11 to 8. Pharaoh's Delight coming in 4 to 1, so there's a bit of support for Pharaoh's Delight. Haspar 9 to 2, Chimes of Freedom 5 to 1, 12 to 1 are those 4. What do you think of that market, John?
Well, they seem to have made Heart of Joy pretty short, inevitably. She didn't really like the firm ground. I think she's possibly had enough runs on the firm ground, otherwise she'd be even shorter. But she's certainly the form filly. We've got Model Village going on, and then May We. Those are the last two. Here's Peter O'Sullivan.
Yes, May We, the last installed, that's it. And they're away. Hasbar shows early on. Waterwell over on the far side. Heart of Joy coming to join the lead now. Hasbar from Waterwell and Heart of Joy with Chimes of Freedom in 4. Then comes May We for France in 5. Model Village comes next, and Pharaoh's Delight is the back marker of the septet, and Hasbar's making it from Waterwell and Heart of Joy. Within 4th place, Chimes of Freedom. Still, Hasbar with that sheepskin noseband showing prominently in the lead. That's Waterwell towards the outside. Heart of Joy just in behind him. May We has made a little bit of progress towards the outside. Steve Cawthon now on Chimes of Freedom. Still Hasbar from Waterwell. Heart of Joy. Chimes of Freedom, May We, Model Village, and Pharaoh's Delight. As they race now into the home turn, still Hasbar with the lead from Heart of Joy, travelling very sweetly on the inside. Waterwell on the outside, Chimes of Freedom, and Steve Cawthon still to move towards the outside. May We's making a little bit of progress. Hasbar now from Chimes of Freedom making ground towards the stand side. Between horses is Heart of Joy. It's Hasbar now from Chimes of Freedom. Chimes of Freedom and Steve Cawthon quickening now. Chimes of Freedom take it up now inside the final furlong from Hasbar and Heart of Joy, and May We racing up towards the line. Number 3 here for Steve Cawthon at the Royal Meeting. Chimes of Freedom wins it in dazzling style. Hasbar is second, and third is Heart of Joy, and 4 May We, and then came Pharaoh's Delight and Waterwell and Model Village. And so the result of the 1990 Coronation Stakes, a dazzling victory for number 1, Chimes of Freedom, owned by Mr. Stavros Niarchos, trained by Henry Cecil and written by Steve Cawthon. Number 50, this for at Royal Ascot for Henry Cecil. Second was number 2, Hasbar, owned by Sheikh Hamdan Al Maktoum, trained by Tom Jones at Newmarket and written by Richard Hills. And third was number 3, Heart of Joy, owned by Mr. John C. Maybe, trained by Michael Starr and written by Walter Swinburne. Fourth was the French challenger, May We. But this is the winner, the clear winner, winner of 5 of her 7 races now. And here's how she won it.
And this was the answer to the question we asked, could she come back to her best? She's back with a bang, a brilliant performance. Heart of Joy, never really travelling easily. Walter Swinburne's gone for his whip at the 2 furlong marker. She wasn't going to pick up for him. She's had one too many run on firm ground. She tries, she puts her head down, but she can't even pull back Hasbar. But look at the brilliant run by Chimes of Freedom on the outside. When Steve Cawthon asks her to go, she picks up and shows that brilliant acceleration that she showed as a 2-year-old. She's come right back to her very best and quickly puts distance between herself and the runner-up. Heart of Joy runs on so bravely in 3rd place, but she just hasn't got the resources after a tough early season campaign. But the further they go, the further Chimes of Freedom wins. A really sparkling win.
He's riding number 1, Sharp and Early, Jimmy. Sharp and Early beat 3 of these at Lingfield recently, Afwaj, Queen's Canaletto and Slow Berry, when under an inspired ride from Pat Edry, he nipped through on the stands rails to take the lead in the last 50 yards.
Trained by Richard Hannon. Nice colt by Run It, quite a big fella this. And well, if he doesn't win today, I think there's some good races in him.
Number 4 is Dead Certain, the winner of last year's Queen Mary Stakes. Also just beaten at Newmarket by Chimes of Freedom, giving her weight, but reversed the form when winning the Group 1 Chieveley Park Stakes at Newmarket last autumn. She's only had 1 run this season, and that was a disaster in the Fred Darling Stakes at Newbury, when she finished last of the 8 runners behind Salsabil and dropped right out in the straight.
She never really got into the race that day, John. I think she might have been a little bit amiss. This can happen sometimes with fillies. I wouldn't be at all surprised if she doesn't run a much bigger race here, John.
Well, David Ellsworth has given her plenty of time to find her form. She's a big rangy filly. She's not the sort that you'd expect to be just a 2-year-old and not to train on. But now we'll give you a show of betting and the result from Ripon.
And Dead Certain has dropped a point from 9-1 to 8-1. But Pont-Avant is the 4-1 favourite, but only just. Great Commotion has just gone to 5-1, second favourite. Montendre 6-1. Dead Certain is on 8-1. Haunting Beauty 9-1. Affouage 10-1. 11-1 is Flower Girl. Lagrange Music at 12-1. Polar Bird 14s, 16-1 bar these. Now a result. This one's from Ripon, the 245, first number 7, Tiffin Time, 9-4 favourite. The second, number 17, Bell Turret, 20-1. Third, number 11, Tyburn Lad, 25-1. And fourth, number 8, Shikari Kid, 8-1.
Well, it's number 10 about to go in. Polar Bird into stall 5. I'm just wondering, the favourite, one of the favourites has drawn 10. And, well, the advantage was running up the stands rail. I wonder, with this range on, whether that's going to alter things.
It could well do. We'll just have to wait and see. Todd goes in. This is Sheer Precocity, number 14, who's got a bit of ground to make up with Haunting Beauty and Flower Girl. Pont-Avant 4-1, Great Commotion 5-1, and Montendre 6-1, 8-1 bar the 3. That's Dead Certain going in, drawn towards the far side. 14.
It'll be interesting just how quick they do tack across to the stands rail, because that's where they've been racing up for 2 days at Royal Ascot. That's sure to be cut up a little bit. Well, the rain is sure to get into that a little faster than it would down the centre of the track. I would think that a route to go down the middle. A couple more to go in. Affouage, Great Commotion there, standing nice and quietly. There's number 2. But number 12. This is Lagrange Music. Pont-Avant 7-2. Great Commotion 5-1. Montendre 6-1, 8-1 bar those 3. Well, I think there are not too many more to go. Peter's not going to have much vision for the first 3 or 4 furlongs. Let's go to him now.
Yeah, they're certainly looking very remote from the stands, Jimmy. That's Lagrange Music. Michael Wigham. A couple more to go. It's Haunting Beauty over on the far side. This is Great Commotion. Given to store number 8. Haunting Beauty now will be the last in. That's it. And they're away. Affouage fast away nearest to us, being tracked by Montendre. Todd's right up there with the pace, and over on the far side is Slow Berry running very fast over towards the left of the picture with Dead Certain right up with her. But it's Affouage, the leader, on the near side from Todd. Over on the far side, it's Slow Berry with Dead Certain. Pont-Avant is making good ground in the centre, but still Affouage, the leader. Great Commotion has now gone second, then Todd, then Pont-Avant, then Dead Certain over on the far side as we see them. That's towards the left of this misty picture. Dead Certain over on the left. Towards the right of the picture is Great Commotion with Affouage. Between them, Todd. Pont-Avant still trying to get on terms with them, but over on the far side, Dead Certain from Haunting Beauty. Great Commotion coming there is Lagrange Music as well. Over on the far side, Dead Certain. Great Commotion in the centre. Great Commotion, Dead Certain as they race up towards the line. Todd on the near side. As they come to the line, it's going to be close. There's Dead Certain on the far side. Great Commotion in the centre. It's going to be very close. Great Commotion and Dead Certain in a photo. Steve and Pat Edery in a photo. Lagrange Music was third, and Haunting Melody was fourth. Haunting Beauty was fourth, and in fact the French-trained favourite finished 1 from last. It's a photo finish, and a very close photo indeed between the chief protagonists here at Royal Ascot. Pat Edery on the near side on Great Commotion, and Steve Cawthon on the far side on Dead Certain. Very close between Great Commotion and Dead Certain. Dead Certain number 4, Great Commotion number 2. Third is Lagrange Music. See what you think as we review the closing stages.
And has the gamble of the week been landed? The anti-post gamble, Great Commotion, was always in the van on the stand side. You can see Sheikh Maktoum's pale blue cap there. Meanwhile, one from the left, Dead Certain, coming back to 6 furlongs and revitalised by David Ellsworth after her appalling reappearance in the Fred Darling Stakes when she was virtually pulled up. Steve and Pat Edery over on the stand side. Afwash ran very fast, is dropping out. Todd flattered for a moment. The grey horse with the noseband there, he ran a terrific race. Pat's going for his whip now on Great Commotion, and Steve likewise on the far side, and these two are going to dominate the finish. And this could be the turning point in the Ritz Club Charity Trophy, because has Pat got up to win here? If so, it'll be his 5th winner, and surely he'll be uncatchable. The two of them drawing clear now, and Lagrange, Steve Corton on the far side, Pat Edery on the stand side, and what a race it is between these two. Lagrange Music's run a terrific race. Pat on the near side has just won it, I think, but it's desperately close. That'll be 2 winners for him, and 4 for Steve if he's won.
Well, this is a desperately close one, all right. Here's Pat on this 4-year-old by Nureyev. Out of Alethea, it was by Lorenzaccio. Pat Edery, who went to post then on the 88 mark for this season. Just to remind you, if you hear the numbers called, same time as I do, Great Commotion is number 2. Dead Certain is number 4. There's Steve-O on this filly by Absalom, out of Sonelta by Sator. Running for only the 2nd time this season. Great Commotion, 5-1 chance. Dead Certain, a 9-1 chance. Great Commotion nearest to us. Dead Certain on the far side. Lagrange Music 3rd. Interesting to see which the pilots elect for. Pat beat Steve a short head. Batsouf, with Steve riding relief pitcher on the first day. As Steve avenged that very narrow triumph. Pat has gone confidently into the number 1 spot, and here comes the result.
First, number 2.
First number 2, Great Commotion. Second, number 4, Dead Certain. Third, number 12, Lagrange Music.
Happy results, and won it on peel.
Thomas Sartis racing very wide of the others. Willie Carson, obviously a deliberate tactic here on Hassian, and not far off the lead either. It looks as though he's in front, but in fact he's very, very wide of the others. Hassian wide on the far side. On the near side it's Old Vic. Just in behind them Michelozzo. Behind Michelozzo a little gap there to Carroll House. And then comes Charmer and Ildoniski and Sartis, and you'll see there that although he looked as though he was clear, Hassian, he's just a little bit behind Olvik as they pass the milepost. Olvik on the near side, Hassian, who's race fit on his far side. Carroll House moving into 3rd, Michelozzo relegated to 4, Ildoniski getting a little bit closer, and they're really going a tremendous gallop, and since sustaining this pace too. Olvik on the inside of Hassian, but Hassian has taken it up now. Hassian and Willie Carson take it up now from Olvik. Then on the inside come Carroll House, then Michelozzo. They're well past the halfway mark, racing past the 5 pole. And Hassian from Olvik. Olvik moves back to join him on the inside. Sartis, last year's winners, moving up on the outside. On the inside, Carroll House, then Ildoniski. Michelozzo's dropped back to last place with Charmer only just ahead of him. Olvik on the inside. of Hussien as they swing into the straight now. 3 furlongs to run in the Hardwick Stakes, and Old Vic trying to stage his comeback here with Hussien on his outside. Then comes the Arc de Triomphe winner, Carroll House, making good progress on the rail. Behind them comes Asardis, Michelozzo making progress from the rear. Ildoniski is not done with yet. Under pressure, Old Vic now being passed by Asardis, who takes it up suddenly, and Asardis storms into the lead now. Asardis from Ildoniski. These two have it between them as they stride into the final furlong. Asardis, last year's winner, being pressed all the time by Ildoniski on his far side. Ildoniski on the far side, Asardis on the near side. Asardis holding Ildoniski as they come to the line. Asardis is going to win it. Asardis is the winner, and Ildoniski in second, and third is Old Vic. 4 came Charmer, and 5 Hussien, 6 Michelozzo, 7 Carroll House. And so yet another triumph for the bookmakers here at Royal Ascot as number 1, Asardis, owned by Mr. S. Haroda, trained by Guy Harwood and ridden by Ray Cochrane, wins his second successive Hardwick Stakes from number 9, Ildoniski, owned by Prince Yazid Saud, trained by Jeff Huffer, ridden by Gary Carter, and third, number 4, Old Vic, owned by Sheikh Mohammed, trained by Henry Cecil, and ridden by Steve Cawthon, with fourth, number 7, Charmer.
Well, what an amazing result, because, of course, this horse would have been second string to Cocothes if Guy Harwood had run that horse. Old Vic, well, he was never left alone, really, by Hussien and Willie Carson, was always struggling just to try and dominate the race, and he never managed just to shake them all. Coming in the straight, Carroll House came through on the inner, on the rails, flattered for a moment. Hussien beaten now, but look at Ray Cochrane producing Asardis on the wide outside of the field with this sensational surge, which leads him to win his second successive Hardwick Stakes. Drifts a little bit to the right as he comes through to hit the front. Ildoniski, meanwhile, has been brought with a beautifully timed run by Gary Carter, and Ildoniski chases him all the way up to the line. And look at the distance they put between themselves and the third horse, Old Vic, who in his first run for 51 weeks has clearly got tired in the last 2 furlongs. Just a question of whether Asardis will last home, because he's been in front long enough now, and the ground's probably a little bit more yielding than he really cares for, but Ildoniski's the top of the ground horse as well, can't pull him back, and Asardis completes the double, and a staggering double in terrific style. You can see on the head-on coverage that Asardis has made his run on the outside, and there's quite a strong wind today, and I think this is a horse who probably doesn't want to be in front too long, and when he does hit the front he starts drifting over to the right. But Gary Carter, as you can see, is riding with his whip in his left hand, and his mount too drifts away to the right. I don't think he's carried by Asardis, as goes on his own volition, because Gary Carter's riding with a left-hand drive. And now Gary's got the rails, and the two of them straighten out from the furlong marker, and it's man for man to the line. You can see the two of them have drawn well clear of Old Vic. Hussien can't produce anymore, nor Charmer, Michelozzo, and Carroll House, having flattered early in the straight, drops right away. He clearly needed the race, but Ildoniski, who just nudged the rails there, as you can see there, he's just nudging the rails as Gary continues to drive him left-handed, but bounces off and finishes with his ears pricked. But it's Asardis who's won the race for the Guy Harwood stable at the staggering odds of 50 to 1.
Yes, they're chalking up their own results, the bookmakers, at the moment. But Asardis, a very worthy winner, and a dual winner of this prestigious prize, the son of Topsider out of Secret Asset by Graustark. Very rarely that horses win this race in successive years, though I can think of a jockey who won it in successive years, none other than paddock commentator Jimmy Lindley, who won it 31 years ago, no less, on Impatient, and then won it the following year on Aggressor. Number 31 of the season for Guy Harwood, 36 for his new stable jockey, Ray Cochrane, who would, of course, have been aboard Cacoethes, but for the change of plan owing to the change of ground. And Tony Clark would have been aboard this one, and who's to say that Cacoethes would have beaten him? Very doubtful the way he accelerated today. Well, he was 50 to 1. Here are the full starting prices.
Well, that's a sight for poor bookmakers' eyes. First, Asati, 50 to 1. Second, number 9, Il Deniski, also 50 to 1. And third, number 4, Old Vic, 5 to 4 on favourite. There were 7 runners.
The distances were 3 parts of a length and 10 lengths. Excuse my hair, it's got extremely windy indeed now. And the time for the race was 2 minutes 32.53 seconds, which isn't nearly as slow as one would have thought. It's only 2.5 seconds above the corresponding median, so the ground has dried up really quite a bit. Last year, Asardis was odds on to win this race. Today he was 50 to 1. He's also changed hands in between. Last year he was owned by Prince Khalid Abdullah. Now he's owned by Mr. Harada. Well, a man with very mixed feelings about the outcomes with me, Jimmy Lindley. Jimmy, obviously your friend Sir Ernest Harrison was going to run the Cacoethes. How do you think he'd have got on in the race?
Well, he'd have taken a lot of beating, Julian, but he's a horse of the highest class, Cacoethes, as this, and they didn't want to risk him on this ground. In fact, it's dried out quite a lot. Nobody expected this wind today, and the forecast was more rain, and he doesn't like the soft ground, so they thought they'd save him, and I think his plan is that he goes for the Eclipse. And good horses like this, you can't put them at risk on ground they don't like, as you know, because if they do have to have a race on it, it can take them back a month, 2 months, and his main campaign is the King George and Queen Elizabeth here at our next meeting.
Well, back to this race, Old Vic was uneasy in the market, and obviously the fears were well founded. Let's look at the race from the off, and they've gone a terrific gallop, so Old Vic was going to have to be pretty straight to win the race. There they go. He jumps out, and Michelozzo, his stable companion, jumps out with him, and Willie thinks that he's onto something going down that far rail.
Yes, Hussey, and he's got to have, as we were saying in the paddock, John and I, he's got to have fastest ground, really, to bring the best out of him. So Willie's an old ploy down there. I don't know whether they think the watering system doesn't reach there. In fact, it is faster ground under the trees, and that's where Willie's stuck it. But Old Vic's had to really work hard right the way through, and they wouldn't let, these other jocks wouldn't let Steve get a breather into him at all. As you see there, they're going a fair old clip. It's a fast time for this type of ground, and as you can see, really and truthfully there, they're going plenty fast enough, because when you think this horse hasn't been on the racecourse since the Irish Derby. But there, Willie, as you can see, as Peter was pointing out, he wasn't quite as clear as what it looks there on our films. When you see the angle change, you'll see that he's about a neck down on Old Vic, and Carol House is sitting back there nicely settled, and Asartis.
First and second, last but one here.
Yes, the most disappointing, in fact, though, is Michelozzo, really, in the colours of Charles St George. You can see an equal fourth there. The warning signs are on the wall here. You can see, really, Pat having to work really hard on this colt, and he's getting nowhere on him. But just look, Carol House is moving very nice there, and I thought that he was going to come into the race with a vengeance there. But as you say, Asartis is always travelling good on the outside there, following Willie, and he's always got that little bit up his sleeve. Now, don't forget, he's race fit too, Julian. He's had just the one run in the Jockey Club Cup, and he ran a good race. Guy loves to get a race into his horses. He's not one that's frightened to get them beat either, but he has it dried up enough for Selka Supreme. What a lovely horse he is. If you remember, Chief Singer won the Coventry here first time up many years ago. He goes in nice and quietly.
Going in on the far side was number 6, Be Fresh. That's Luca Cumani's other runner, having his first outing of the season. Hannah Marie is 9 to 1, Plain Fact and Bertie Worcester at 12 to 1, and 14 to 1 bar those three. This is number 27, Amigo Menor.
Richard Fox waiting to go in on Divine Pet. There he is, black and white. Goes into box 11. By Tina's Pet, this one. With the blinkers on. Number 17, Bertie Worcester.
Bertie Worcester, winner of 6 of his 48 starts. The last one going in on the far side, over to Peter.
Yes, that's Plain Fact in, and they're all in. Under orders, and they're away. Breaking fast on the far side, Maznoon also running fast towards the center. Let's be honest about it, Silka Supreme is right up with the lead too. And over on the near side, Amigo Menor running very fast with Miami Banker just in behind them, and then Bocas Rose. But in the center, come to join him in the center now is That's the One in the center, with Silka Supreme right up there too, and under the stands rails Amigo Menor leads the whole field. Amigo Menor has the advantage from That's the One. Then comes Prohibition, Gallant Hope just in behind them. Hannah Marie is well poised at the 2 furlong marker, and Hannah Marie now is coming to challenge Amigo Menor, with over on the far side Solomon's Song and Craft Express also, and Pat Edery making very good progress in the centre on Night of Mercy, but it's Amigo Menor being challenged by Hannah Marie. Then comes Night of Mercy. Willie Carson now coming to challenge Amigo Menor. It's Amigo Menor with Night of Mercy putting in a tremendous run over on the far side. Amigo Menor and Night of Mercy as they come to the line. Pat Edery has won it on Night of Mercy. Amigo Menor is second, and third is Hannah Marie. It's a photo for fourth between Birdie Wooster and Bocas Rose. Pat Edery has joined Steve Cawthon at the top of the Ritz Cup Charity Trophy by winning the Wokingham Stakes on number 11, Night of Mercy, owned by Mr. M.W. Grant, trained by Richard Hannon. Second was number 27, Amigo Menor, owned by Mr. Frank Gunnan, trained by Kim Brassey and ridden by Chris Rutter. And third was number 24, Hannah Marie, owned by Mr. Tony Nurse, trained by Jeff Huffer and ridden by Willie Carson. And it's a photograph for fourth place, a photograph between Bocas Rose and Birdie Wooster. But this is the winner, number 5 at the meeting, number 2 of the afternoon, for the champion Pat Edery, now on the 92 mark, Night of Mercy, the winner of the 1990 Wokingham Handicap.
And once again, the draw played an important part. Amigo Menor right under the stand rails, drawn 4. In front, certainly coming to the 2 furlong mark, although already under pressure. Now, the winner was drawn 17. Look towards the centre of your screen. Pat Edery is threading through. Got a Prince Khalid Abdullah horse on his outside. Here he is in the yellow colours, coming down with his threat, and moves over towards the stand rails as he makes his challenge. And look too as Willie Carson makes his run on Hannah Marie. Willie pumping away. The visored head of Hannah Marie just looked as though the gamble would be landed for a moment. But now Pat's gone into full overdrive in those yellow colours. He's still only in third place here. Any other rider, and he'd have written it off by now. But Pat's getting a terrific response from this brave horse, Night of Mercy. Big, strong horse he is too. And as Hannah Marie falters inside the last furlong, Amigo Menor can't give any more, and Pat, riding a finish of which only he is capable, gets up to win the Wokingham by half a length. Well, here you can see in the head-on that he hasn't run entirely straight. There he is in the yellow colours. From the number 17 draw he's come right in the centre of the field at this point, while Amigo Menor on the rails there is pressed by Hannah Marie and Willie Carson, and for a moment it looked as though the race was going to be between those two. And although Pat's riding with his whip in his left hand, Night of Mercy, coming out of the pack, still just drifts a little bit towards the left, and that might have helped him because he's gone over and he's got these 2 horses to race with. And Pat, of course, because his horse is drifting to the left, he can't pull his whip through, even though he's given his horse 2 or 3 backhanders here. Meanwhile, the 2 on the rails just getting a little bit tired, just drifting a little bit away from the rails. Amigo Menor, who's been in front from the start, just wandering a little bit. Now Night of Mercy straightens out again, and it's well inside the final furlong, and Pat drives him into the lead. Hannah Marie can't do any more. The 3 of them are clear now, and Amigo Menor gives up in just the last few strides, and Pat pulls it out of the fire for Richard Hannon at 16-1.
Yes, what a fantastic season Richard Hannon is having too. This is 28th winner of a year in which he's won 2 classics. Night of Mercy, a 4-year-old by Aragon, out of Little Mercy by No Mercy. A winner last time out over 7 furlongs. And the rain just about made this a 7-furlong race today. Really gutsy finish by this horse to wear down the gallant Amigo Menor, who tried to make every yard of the running. With officially placed fourth was number 10, Bocas Rose. And the distance is 3/4 of a length and 1.5 lengths. So just to recap the result of the 1990 Wokingham first, number 11, Knight of Mercy. Second, number 27, Amigo Menor. Third, number 24, Hannah Marie. And fourth, and of course it's significant fourth, or each way betters, fourth, number 10, Bocas Rose, who just touched off Bertie Wooster, and the starting prices as follows.
First, number 11, Knight of Mercy, 16-1. Second, number 27, Amigo Menor, 33-1. Third, number 24, Hannah Marie, 9-1 favourite. And fourth, number 10, Bocas Rose, 50-50-1.
So first and fourth there for Richard Hannon, who's having such a fabulous season. The time for the race was 1 minute 15.31 seconds, and the interesting thing about that is that is faster than the corresponding race median. So with this strong wind, the ground is drying out all the time. But certainly those who are drawn on the far side of the course seem to have a reduced chance. Pat Eddery, willingly or unwillingly, coming over to the stand side, that was certainly an advantage for him. Well, we started the day with Steve Cawthon leading the race for the Ritz Club Charity Trophy by 5-3 from Pat Eddery. Now they're even Stevens with just 3 races to go. Steve Cawthon 5 winners, Pat Eddery 5 winners, and not a single rider apart from those two has ridden more than one. These two great jockeys have really dominated the meeting. Well, this really was a vintage ride by Pat Eddery. I really believe that, well, I very much doubt if anyone in the world could have got this horse home apart from Pat. All his strength and drive came into force. Let's look at the race again from the start with Jimmy and John.
Amigo Menor, drawn near the rails, was very fast away towards the right of the picture in the orange colours, showing speed in the centre. That's the one, Silka Supreme and Prohibition. Right over on the far side, the grey Masnoon, led there by Solomon's Song, and let's be honest about it, the winner, middle to rear in the centre group, but on the near side, Jimmy, as they go past our camera, it looks as if Amigo Menor, who eventually finished seconds in front,
has got a good lead there, John, and this is when the jockeys have got to try and restrain a little bit of stamina over 6 furlongs. It's not quite like 5, but Amigo Menor has come out of stall 5 and immediately got the rails and is showing that terrific acceleration. And as Julian was saying, Pat Eddery, what a wonderful job he's done on Knight of Mercy to get him across from stall 17. Gradually he's brought him along to join his field on the stand side. He's had to retain a lot of finishing speed, and there also he's had to pick him up and wait.
That's it. Royal George breaks fast over on the far side. Also Dancing Music. Dancing Music showing very good speed over on the far side. On the near side, Ron's Victory and De Jure. De Jure on the near side from Ron's Victory. And Nabil Dancer just in behind the lead. It's De Jure in the centre. Ron's Victory showing there with his white face. Then comes Boozy towards the outside of De Jure. Nabil Dancer in behind them towards the stand side. De Jure with the advantage from Nabil Dancer on the near side. Laguna Beach putting in a run also, but it's De Jure the leader from the white face. Ron's Victory in the centre. Dancing Music over on the far side. Laguna Beach getting the better of Nabil Dancer over on the stand side, but it's De Jure as they race into the closing stages. De Jure is going to win this well as they come up towards the line. De Jure has run away with it. De Jure is the winner. Ron's Victory is second. It's going to be a photo for third between Laguna Beach, who probably just beats Royal George, with Mademoiselle Chloe next. And last, in fact, was the one that played up in the papers. So First, number 11, De Jure, owned by Sheikh Hamdan Al Maktoum, trained by Major Dick Hearn and ridden by Willie Carson. Second was number 12, Ron's Victory, owned by Mr. J.S. Moss, trained by Alain Fallour and ridden by Tony Cruz. And a photo for third place, a photo between number 1, Laguna Beach, ridden by Steve Cawthon, and number 4, Poyle George, ridden by John Williams. It's close for them for this important, significant third prize, but no doubt about the winner. And didn't he run away with it? De Jure.
And the change in the ground had no bearing on De Jure because he splashed through what's only just surface water after all, and he's put up really an exhilarating display to win. There he is in the centre of the course, Willie Carson with his hands full. Meanwhile, Pat Edder on the stand side on the favourite, already going for his whip and starting to struggle. Alongside him is Laguna Beach and Steve Cawthon, and Steve already going for it as well. His horse runs on well. The French challenger Ron's Victory just switching to the right behind De Jure there, but he had every chance. His rider Tony Cruz just deciding to challenge on Willie Carson's outside, and the two of them have drawn clear. The two on the stand side, Laguna Beach and Poyle George, who runs on really well, also in the Royal Blue colours, to share the photo for third place, the two David Ellsworth runners. But look at De Jure go away. This is a brilliant performance, a sprint championship performance. He's won in the end from the flying French horse Ron's Victory by 2.5 lengths, with the third horse, whoever he is, a long way back. And this rather exploded our theory about the ground being best on the stand side, because Willie Carson's come up, well, the centre of the course, the left of the centre of the course, and perhaps there isn't really a great deal of difference in the draw at all. Perhaps those were the best horses in the Wokingham Stakes who were running up the stand side. But Willie Carson, who keeps horses running straight better than anyone, up the middle of the course at Newmarket, the middle of the track at Ascot, and this horse has run as if he's on tram rails. You can see, in fact, though, from the cut of the grass, just as I said, that he jinks a little bit to the right there. But Tony Cruz, there was no real reason, I don't think, for him to pull round on Ron's Victory. Meanwhile, on the right, you can see Laguna Beach and Poyle George in the blue colours with the light blue sleeves coming, challenging to compete. Well, that's him on the left, in fact, finishing best of all, Poyle George. But way up front, De Jure goes away for a dazzling win in the Kingston Stakes. The winner returned 11-2.
What a fantastic double for the owner there, Sheikh Hamdan Al Maktoum, to win the most significant long-distance race here at the Royal Meeting, and now the most significant sprint. Winner of the Gold Cup yesterday with Ashal, and now Kingston Stakes with De Jure. Willie Carson's second winner of the Royal Meeting, 64th of the season. Winners here of 55 races between them. A real scintillating performance by this winner. It was by Danzig, one of the stallion revelations of the moment. A Northern Dancer horse, of course, and this De Jure is out of Gold Beauty by Mr. Prospector, who features in so many winning pedigrees. There's the proud owner with his horse there being congratulated. And the outcome of the photograph for third place. Third was number 1, Laguna Beach, and fourth, number 4, Poyle George. So, just to recap, the winner, number 11, De Jure. Second, number 12, Ron's Victory. And third, number 1, Laguna Beach. Fourth, number 4, Poyle George. The starting price is as follows.
First, number 11, Desure, 11-2. Second, number 12, Ron's Victory, 14-1. And third, number 1, Lugana Beach, 8-1. Now today's results from Royal Ascot, beginning with, of course, the 2:30. First, number 2, Gypsy Fiddler, 7-2. Second, number 8, Snowy Owl, 5-2 favourite. And third, number 10, Ivory Bride, 9-1. The 3-5, first, number 1, Asati, 50-1. Second, number 9, Ilda Niski, 50-1. And third, number 4, Old Vic, 5-4 on favourite. There were 7 runners in that race. The 3:45, the Wokingham. First, number 11, Knight of Mercy, 16-1. Second, number 27, Amigo Menor, 33-1. Third, number 24, Hannah Marie, 9-1 favourite. And fourth, number 10, Bocas Rose, 50-1.
And Sheikh Hamdan and Willie Carson, they're not finished yet. Remember, they've got Takib in the next race, the Britannia Stakes, and that is the best backed horse anti-post of the day. But Willie's not in contention for the Ritz Club Charity Trophy. That is being fought out head-to-head by Steve Cawthon and Pat Edery. They've both got a chance in this next race. It's all down to the last 2 races of the 4th day at Royal Ascot. Well, you can see the outcome of that, and indeed highlights of the 4th afternoon's racing on BBC 2 this evening. We've been on BBC 1 throughout the week. Note BBC 2 this evening at 11:50, and we'll be back tomorrow with 4 more races from Ascot Heath tomorrow afternoon in Grandstand. The feature event there, the big handicap, the Great Met Handicap over 5 furlongs. Well, I hope you enjoyed it today. It's been one of those sort of on and off days, and the bookmakers got slightly the better of the argument again. Some great finishes. Now let's return to Lords, where we join Jack Bannister.
In England, 2:35 for 5, having lost 32 minutes in the latest stoppage either side of tee. Single there to Robin Smith, who's now very much the senior partner. He's on 20. Batsman in with him, Jack Russell. He's 4 not out, and the man to go there, the last wicket, that of Neil Fairbrother. Another failure for him, sadly. And with nearly an hour's play lost, we're through till virtually 7 o'clock tonight, providing the weather holds. And the wicket of Neil Fairbrother, and a strange dismissal for a lad on 2. Down the wicket he goes, trying for the big one. Didn't get any part of the bat on it really, other than the top, and just lobbed it there to mid-on, where Danny Morrison, well, just had a bit of fielding practice, but what a way to go for a young man trying to make his way in Test cricket. So sad dismissal there.
To Steffi Graf. Manon Bollegraf, unseeded from Holland. She beat Ros Fairbank at Wimbledon, a Wimbledon quarter-finalist, to get to the last 8. Up against Laurie McNeil, 26 years old, a Texan, member of last year's Whiteman Cup team. And we've just heard, I'm afraid, that play has been abandoned for the day, but it does give us a little bit of a chance to look at tennis from years past.